their differences. You've heard the property tax plans from everyone except the Democrat running for governor.
Well, that changes today. I'm Donnie Burgess. Jennifer McCormick is set to host a virtual press conference today at 11 o'clock Eastern, where she plans on revealing the common sense property tax relief plan. In a press release Wednesday, the McCormick campaign said this is a bipartisan plan that won't make cuts to essential police, fire, or school services like the Braun tax plan. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The state's proposed GPS diplomas for high schoolers have been scrapped, but Education Secretary Dr. Katie Jenner says their flexibility needs to remain. She says she has heard the complaints from teachers who urged keeping core subjects like math and science.
We have been not stopping until we got this to a better place for Indiana.
She says now they're proposing different honors seals that students can earn to work towards a chosen career path. The WNBA All-Star Game for 2025 will be here in Indianapolis. It'll be the first time that Indy has hosted the event. It was in Phoenix this year. The week will be consisting of many events at Lucas Oil Stadium, but the All-Star Game itself, it will be played at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
Yeah, current vehicle fire Keystone Avenue north of 30th. Also westbound 74 slow between Acton and Thompson because of a crash that just cleared. And looking at southbound 69 slow 96th Street down to 82nd. The construction on the southwest side is done. Northbound 465 from 70 up to Rockville Road. But more construction in that area begins Friday night. And we'll definitely go into the middle of next week. Details at WIBC Traffic. More to come. Traffic sponsored by Audible. Make traffic work for you with Audible. Explore new worlds or get inspired listening to audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com. I'm Matt Baer with Traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
The financial advisor industry is a flawed system. Find out how to fight back and protect your retirement on Expedition Retirement. Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
The hot summer and the hot deals are coming at Tom Roush Lincoln. 0% for 60 months is back. Get 0% APR for 60 months on every new 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Plus get an additional $4,000 off MSRP. You can also take $3,000 off every new 2024 Lincoln Corsair 70 available. So get in here for one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
For well-qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24401. MSRP 107,425. Stock number L24284. MSRP is 43,435. See dealer for complete details.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
To celebrate, Be Employee Owned, Be's offering employee pricing 60% off plus 18 months, no interest, no payment.
Proud to be employee owned. Trust me.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy with scattered showers and thunderstorms late this afternoon. 83 for your high. Showers and storms likely with heavy rain possible overnight. A low of 68. I'm Wish TV's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Mostly cloudy, 72 downtown. Some showers to the north on radar. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall. Talk about sending money somewhere. We're talking about printing the money because we have no money. And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Okay, Kenny. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it, Kenny. Kenny in the YouTube chat desperately pleading for Michael Stanley Band this morning. And since Casey's not here, we can play good music. Hello! It is the Kendall and Casey show.
So that's the linchpin, huh?
Casey's out today. Kevin's here. Jim Merritt in for Casey. Hello.
Robert.
All right, so I got to start with a question for you. I got this email from a listener. Who was this? This was Quentin that sent this to me. We got so much to get to today. But, you know, my least favorite topic to talk about is myself, Jim.
Well, of course.
I just loathe to mention myself.
Just hate it.
So I'm going to, before I read this email, I'm going to ask you, because you spent 30 years in the Indiana Senate, 50 years in Indiana politics and government, started when you were 3. So happy 53rd birthday.
Pouring coffee.
Why would someone be polling about me?
Well, why not? What a great compliment.
Why would that be happening?
You pose a real problem to the establishment. But
I'm not running for anything. I'm not on anybody's ballot.
No, you kind of are. I mean, I get a lot of input after I'm on with you, and most of it is not good.
Yeah, with the crowd you hang out with, I bet not. All right.
So I wasn't surprised that they're putting your name in polls.
Okay, here we go. This is from Quentin. I don't know who you ticked off, but I accidentally answered the phone this afternoon and got stuck doing a survey. Your name was included with all the politicians as whether I held a mostly favorable or very unfavorable opinion of them. After I stopped laughing, I gave you a better rating than the crooks in office /elections. Funny they didn't mention Casey. From Quentin.
They want to know your reach. They want to know. Look
at the ratings. The ratings of the reach.
Well,
we're fabulous.
Yeah, but
they're real and they're spectacular, Jim.
The property tax issue that has been thrust into the governor's office, you and Casey can claim.
Yeah.
And so they're following that up to see what else is going to happen.
Yeah.
And they want to see what impact you're making on the world.
So if you get asked, if you get one of these pollsters on the other end, you give us a big 2 thumbs up, maybe we'll drive the property tax agenda further forward.
Or maybe there's another issue out there that needs to be pushed forward, and it comes on the next 2 weeks, and they're going to know what, if you have that thumbprint, that thumb on the scale. That's what they want to know is how much impact you're making on politics these days. That's why they did it. And not a whole lot of campaigns in the middle of August are polling right now because school's just in. It's a dead time. The Democrats are going to have their convention next week. So it had to be a campaign, had to be an organization that has money to spend on a poll like that. And there aren't too many like that.
All right, speaking of property taxes, boy, howdy, does this show stir the drink, my friend.
Well, no question about it.
Boy, we big announcement you heard from the WIBC newsroom at 11 o'clock. Jennifer McCormick is going to unveil some sort of property tax plan. Now, this is amazing, Jim.
Well, it's amazing also because, she comes from the education part of our world.
Right.
And so property taxes are meaningful to education. So that's really an interesting development that'll happen at 11 o'clock.
Well, she sat right in this chair right next to me, whatever that was, 2 weeks ago now, or a week ago now, or whatever that was. And she was adamant that she would wait for this committee, what are they calling this, tax reform committee or whatever, that's been going on for 2 years.
In the legislature.
And that she was going to, she was throwing out things like, you can't just focus on one thing. You got to focus on everything. We're not going to do anything until that tax committee comes out. And then Gooden, old terrible Terry, at the lieutenant governor's debate the other day, was talking about it's like Nixon at Vietnam, right? Like, we've got a plan, but you'll have to elect us to find out what's in it. And then all of a sudden, after she just sat here on statewide radio and declared, I'm waiting for this committee to come back because it would be irresponsible. Blah, 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 blah. Now, apparently at 11 o'clock today, she's forgotten everything she said on this radio show and everything terrible Terry said just 2 days ago in the debate. Now she's got a property tax plan, and we'll find out about it at 11 o'clock on today on Thursday.
Well, right now, there's nothing really to talk about in politics.
Right.
And the property tax, she must have done a poll or two to see what kind of impact that actually made. And it came back very positive to her that as a governor candidate, she needs to be talking about this issue. No question about it.
You and I were talking about this on State House Happenings today, which we recorded.
Love that show.
It's great. I really think, I don't know, I love this show, but I think hanging out with you and Abdul for 30 minutes, maybe my favorite 30 minutes of the week. We get a lot done.
We get a lot done. And property taxes and the mayor were the centerpiece this year.
Yeah, we'll post that later today up on the various social media accounts, and then it airs Sunday mornings on the radio station. Mm-hmm. But you and I were talking about the lieutenant governor's debate. Abdul was in the conversation with us. If Crouch or Chambers or Doden, because I sat with Eric Doden, the election's over now, so I guess we could probably reveal what we talked about. This must have been January of 23, right? We're in 24. January 23, I met with Eric Doden at the request of Micah Beckwith, and he got us together, and we sat at a local restaurant here. And I told him, I said, because he was at, what do you think I should be talking about, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I said, the only thing you should be talking about is property tax reform. And the first person to a viable plan for property tax reform with the amount of money you will raise in a Republican primary, you will become the Republican nominee for governor because you have enough money to deliver the message. And he didn't want any part of that. And whether it's Chambers or Crouch or Doden, the three people who had the money to compete with Braun, if any of them, which is why it's insane that Suzanne Crouch latched onto that income tax thing, which got totally debunked, and then she's done. Nobody took property taxes. We've been begging people for 4 years on this show, but really, as far as it relates to elections, for 2 years going, first person who masters this issue, first person who dominates the public confidence in this issue is going to win the election. Mm-hmm. And people should just listen to us, Jim. You don't need the pollsters. You don't need the consultants. You need this radio show because we're proven right time and time and time again.
That's what the error in concentrating on income taxes, because nobody likes to pay taxes, but we have relatively low predictable income taxes in this state, and there really wasn't a sore thumb about it. But with property taxes being as complicated as in your face every day, and you see these big schools, you see these property tax monies outlaid on these different programs, and it is the heart of everything. Why a governor candidate did not tack on that, because you could make the announcement that we want to get away from property taxes, but I will have a program when I run for governor to satisfy the referendums and the assessments and inflation was cranking up. You could have put a whole campaign around this, and they didn't.
All right, so Jennifer McCormick's going to do her plan at 11 o'clock today, and I don't even know what's in it. I'm going to tell you right now, it's bull crap. And here's why. Because she sat in this chair, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, whatever the time was. And if you were going to announce your property tax plan, as Mike Braun did, as Donald Rainwater did, everybody knows this is the show. This is the place where that conversation is dominated. If you were actually passionate or had one or something you were fired up about or willing to fight for, you would have done it here. She's doing whatever she's doing because she feels she has to win votes.
Well, absolutely. And remember that
she doesn't mean any of it.
Rob, the Republicans have a supermajority in the House and the Senate. They're going to call this. They're going to figure out what is going to happen next session. And so if they're getting a handle on referendums or somehow the assessment, it's going to the game's going to be there. And as well as the fact that she's a Democrat, former Republican, and she's not going to win. And so whatever she did, she could have made.
I love you just casually threw she's not going to win in there. That's her description. What is she? She's a former Republican. She's a Democrat. She's not going to win.
You heard it here first. Fans, audience.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, an incredible piece of audio, random, confused, likely accidental act of journalism taking place at CNN yesterday. Jim Acosta going at this spokesperson for Kamala Harris's campaign about her refusal to be held accountable on anything. Incredible piece of audio. We'll play it for you. Coming up next, Meriton for Casey, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
He knew about what was going on. He did not fire Thomas Carl Cook. As a matter of fact,
brought him back for his latest campaign.
If Joe Hogsett knew about this, he needs to resign. He needs to resign, and the city county council, I get it, it's very Democrat heavy. I understand that. But do the right thing.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Fox, CNN, other news sources are reporting home prices are expected to decline into 2025, even after the election. Maximize your home sales price now before this downturn with the agent proven to sell for top dollar, Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Tom and Kim from Sharpeville had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We were wanting to move to Florida and looking to sell our home. We wanted to sell quick and with an agent who would maximize the sales price. After being approached by Mark Diedel's team, we knew they were right for us. It was incredible. Mark sold our home on the first day at full price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Diedel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdiedel.com. It's Mark, DIETEL.com, markdiedel.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We've recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868. That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Are you a business owner or professional looking to make an impact towards a greater cause? If so, please join us for a powerful morning of hope and action at the Hope Starts Here breakfast on September 19th at Lucas Estates. I'm Pastor Nathan Peternell, and Life Church wants to invite you to join us in supporting the fight against sex slavery while partnering with Project Rescue. Enjoy a time of networking, a free breakfast, hear some inspiring stories, and learn how you too can make a difference. Together we can bring hope and freedom to those in need. For more information, go to lifechurchin.com.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Don't stress about plumbing repairs. Call LD Smith for honest advice and a free second opinion on any estimate.
A dirty, stinking honest.
All right, I'm putting out a bounty, Jim. But, hey, oh, yeah, there we go. Crank that up. That's for Kenny. It's the Michael Stanley Band.
It's a great way to start your morning.
Yeah. This is for Kenny. He was adamant in the YouTube chat. All right. Just for you, Kenny. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Barrett's in for Casey. Kev's here. Play the good music today because Casey's gone. I don't have to listen to her whining about our quality choices, quality selections.
Complaints all the time, huh?
All right, Jim Barrett's in for Casey today. I'm putting a bounty out because we started the show trying to figure out who is polling about me. If you know, it's not a monetary bounty, but
or if you've been contacted.
Yeah. Or if you've been contacted, it was mentioned in your poll. Quentin let me know he was polled about these local politicians or people running for statewide office, and then for some reason my favorability was in the queue. If contact
in the dump,
right. Rob at WIBC.com, at Rob M. Kendall, if you've been polled, or if you're the person, if you know who's doing the polling, I guess a bounty would imply there's some sort of monetary reward. I guess I'm more putting out a feeler than a bounty.
A request.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we want to know
why.
Why?
I'm not running for anything.
We know why.
Yeah. I'm
the
retired.
Impact.
Yeah.
The
right.
impact.
Speaking of impact, I never would have thought I would have come on this radio show and said, you know who had a big impact yesterday? Jim Acosta.
Yeah, I was relatively stunned about that. But they want information too, so you know.
Well, they're running into the same thing they ran into with Biden, which is the media. So Jim Acosta works for CNN. He's obviously been a thorn in the side of the Trump White House, and he was the guy they tried to get banned out of the press room, right? And then a judge said he had to stay, and so certainly no fan of the Trump administration, probably desperately cheering for Kamala Harris to win. But one of the things that Biden did and then Kamala's doing now is if they don't talk, what do these people have to cover?
That's exactly right.
In the 24/7 news cycle, you need continual
You need
people.
content.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so I think the media is starting to get a little agitated already that they're hiding, not because they don't want her to win. They know she's an idiot, and they know she's going to say stupid stuff.
And they'll cover for her when she makes the mistakes.
But they got to have,
she's going to make mistakes.
But they got to have her out there to make the mistakes so they have content. So they're starting to get upset. And this was an incredible back and forth, which Trump should somehow fit into an ad from Jim Acosta, of all people, with this Biden spokesperson about her refusal to talk to anyone about anything.
Would it kill you guys to have a press conference? Why hasn't she had a press conference?
Listen, the Vice President and Governor Walz have been busy crisscrossing this country since the launch of this campaign and adding Governor Walz to the ticket. You saw the ways in which they went across the battleground states last week, generating rallies of thousands, 10,000 here, 15,000 there. But
Michael, you know, a campaign rally is not a press conference.
It's going to be inclusive.
Do you mind if I cut in? I mean, you know, a campaign rally is not a press conference. Why hasn't she had a press conference? She's the vice president. She can handle the questions. Why not do it?
We absolutely are going to do it. You hear her take questions as she's out on the stump, and she said last week, we're going to be having a sit-down interview here before the end of the month. What she's going to be focused on and what this campaign is going to be focused on is communicating directly with the voters that are actually going to decide the pathway to 270 electoral votes. That's why she
Can you commit to a press conference this week?
This past week. That's why we're doing a bus tour in Pennsylvania as we head into Chicago. And it's why we'll sit down for an interview before the end of the month to make sure that we can have a deep dive conversation about the vision that Kamala Harris has for where she wants to take this country and the contrast that we're going to have with Donald Trump. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to do that throughout the rest of
but one interview by the end of the month.
This month and throughout the rest of the campaign.
I don't want to, belabor this, but one interview before the end of the month. I mean, that's not a lot. I mean, can you commit to a press conference before the end of the month?
We will commit to directly engage with the voters that are actually going to decide this election, and that is going to be a complete with.
It's pathetic. I mean, it's pathetic. You have the vice president of the United States. She's been vice president for 3.5 years. She was a U.S. senator before that. She was an attorney general before that, and she cannot speak. She's incapable of asking unscripted questions, answering unscripted questions.
You got to feed the monster, and they aren't right now, and. They think that just because Biden's stuck in his basement last time, they think that can work again because, you see the convention coming on and then, late August is here and people getting their kids back in school. They think that they can deflect all the way up to September 15th and people start voting very soon. And so this is not going to work because Jim Acosta is just really the start. It is going to continue to do it, and as well as, the idea that Trump is going to have a press conference tomorrow, like at 4 or 4:30 out in New Jersey, and they're having all sorts of availabilities for the vice president nominee, and so they've got to continue to push this. They being the Republicans. And Trump especially, and just flood the ideas out there. The initial one is that they don't want to tax Social Security. Now, that really impacts people, senior citizens.
Real quick, I wanted to get these because Kev worked so hard to pull them. J.D. Vance was in Michigan yesterday, and he's obviously the Rust Belt attack dog. They're going to keep him up there, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, those areas, and send him out there. And he went off on Kamala Harris yesterday. Take a listen.
She said she's going to tackle the affordability crisis affecting American families on day one. Think about that. Kamala, day one was January of 2021. Day one was 4 years ago, Kamala Harris, and because of your policies, too many children can't afford a nice meal. Too many children have been killed by fentanyl. Too many grandparents are raising kids they didn't plan for, and too many families can't afford a special meal on a Friday night.
We played that lady yesterday in Pennsylvania who was saying she couldn't afford the bell pepper. Right. I mean, it's staggering what this woman has done, and the audacity then to say, well, don't just ignore the past 3.5 years that I've been a part of. I'll fix it if you put me in there.
And Biden has that pin as well. And J.D. Vance was on all 3 networks on Sunday.
Yeah. One more from J.D. Vance. He said again in Michigan yesterday, everything about Kamala is fake.
Now, I cannot get over, my friends, about everything about her campaign is fake. A fake joy that comes from being promoted to a new position instead of using the position you already have to do your job and make the lives of the citizens of this country better. It's a fake ticket that never earned a single Democrat primary vote. It's a fake platform that offers no specifics about how to do the people's businesses, and a fake promise to change the government even though she's been in charge of that very government for almost 4 years and hasn't done a damn thing.
Yeah, 100% right. All right, Jim Merritt's in for Casey today. Kev's here. When we come back, there was a big meeting yesterday in state government. State Board of Education met. Jim, this high school diploma drama, this is a train wreck. This is a disaster, and it's always education. And for some reason, the Republicans, despite all these super majorities in the state, they cannot run education. It's unbelievable.
Well, it's clarity. You need clarity when you're communicating to those that, and this is for the class of 29 kids that are entering school in 2025 in the fall, and their graduation credits, and their diploma. And the idea is some kids want to go to college, half of them don't, and how we can get the workforce and those kids trained, and maybe they'll have some variations of kids now who could get diplomas even before then.
So State Board of Education met yesterday. They've done a huge reversal on all the standards they'd rolled out
It's
too
a
long
blur
ago.
now, Robert.
It's a nightmare. And Casey Smith from the Capitol Chronicle was there yesterday for all of it. She's going to be with us next to talk about what's going on with getting a high school diploma in the state of Indiana.
After 30 years of doing knee and hip replacements, Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup thought there had to be a better way, and that led him to regenerative medicine.
I was one of the first orthopedic surgeons to do it.
Now, after 20 years of successful orthobiologic treatments, lots of clinical data, research, and teaching, Dr. Scheinkup is National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
They've done an amazing job of becoming the most significant orthobiologic and regenerative medicine practice in the United States. QC is so far ahead of the game in its science, its protocols, its people, its facilities.
So if you have chronic pain from arthritis and you want to avoid drugs and surgery, call the experts in this revolutionary field, QC Kinetics.
To give patients real lasting relief from pain, that's what I live for. That's my mission.
Get your free consultation now. Call QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. In Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel. 317-559-PAIN.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Her plan for the economy. It's cloudy, some rain to the north on radar, 74 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Kamala Harris is planning to propose a federal ban on corporate price gouging in food and groceries. The Democratic presidential hopeful will unveil her full economic policy platform this Friday at a campaign rally in North Carolina. In a statement Wednesday, the Harris campaign said there's a big difference between fair pricing in competitive markets and excessive prices unrelated to the costs of doing business. Peace talks happening soon between Israel and Hamas. At least it's hoped that will be the case.
Overnight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave his negotiating team a wider mandate to bring to the table, though analysts remain pessimistic about the possibility of success. From Israel, the heads of the intelligence agencies, the Shin Bet and Mossad, will be part of the team, along with the top advisor to the Prime Minister. While the Americans, Egyptians, and Qataris will be there, it's unknown how Hamas will participate.
Fox's Trey Yangst. Big Lots is closing more than 300 stores across the U.S. The move comes after the chain warned that ongoing financial issues put it in substantial doubt. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Some strong starts to the day. The Dow was up 385 to 40,504. The NASDAQ up 208 to 19,323. And the S&P 500 is up 48 to 5,525. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition Smart Bed, plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Back to school season arrives in Indiana. It's time to focus on school supplies and those home projects you've been delaying. Don't worry. With Moss Roofing, you're not alone. They're here to help with your roofing and siding, making sure your home is a safe place for math homework each and every day. Choose Moss Roofing to transform your home's exterior with top-notch James Hardy siding, protecting your home from those Indiana storms and enhancing your curb appeal. Their inspections are always free, and they'll even give you a 3D design link so you can visualize the makeover before they even begin. Talk to Moss Roofing today, a second-generation family business based right here in Central Indiana. For a job done right every single time. I love when they do that. MossRoofing.com, 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. 747-3665 or online at Moss, M-O-S-S, MossRoofing.com.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob Jim Meriton for Casey today. And, you know, Jim, this drama involving standards to get a high school diploma in the state of Indiana, it just seems like it has reached a level of wholly ridiculous.
It's turned into a drama because it first of all, I was complimentary to Dr. Jenner and several months ago because I think this is the right way to go. However, then the Purdue president starts to shout from the balconies about the proposed guidelines and what will be in what is required of someone to get a diploma, and now it's become a political issue.
Yeah, so the State Board of Education met yesterday. Big changes now to the new standards to get a high school diploma. And Casey Smith from Indiana Capital Chronicle was there covering it all. Great piece in the Capital Chronicle about exactly what went down. She joins us now on the WIBC hotline. All right, Casey, take us through the day. What was the goal of yesterday, and was it accomplished?
Yeah, so for several months now, the State Board of Education has been trying to work out a draft of new high school diploma requirements. They've been charged by the General Assembly to basically overhaul the degrees by the end of December. They had a first draft that came out a little bit earlier in the summer. It had these 2 diploma options. There was a GPS diploma and a GPS diploma plus. It was a little, I think across the board, it may have been a little confusing, kind of what each of those diploma options we're trying to accomplish. There were a lot of questions from students and parents. There was also a lot of pushback from students, parents. You mentioned universities and colleges across the state. Lots of folks had issues, multiple different types of issues with the two diplomas. So there was a whole bunch of public comment that was given. I think Dr. Katie Jenner yesterday said 8,000 individual submissions.
Yeah.
And so they had the second draft that they came out with. They released yesterday. It's definitely different. There's a baseline diploma, which is kind of mirroring the current Core 40 that we have now, with some changes. But then on top of that baseline, students have the option of choosing these seals. And the seals can do a number of things. There are different seal tracks. There's one, for example, there's an honors enrollment seal that kind of sets students up to go to college. There's, this honors plus seal series where students, before they leave, they'll have, really high school, they'll have like an associate's degree or some sort of other certificate. There are also seals that are supposed to set students up to go straight into the military or other public service like law enforcement or firefighting. So they've essentially revamped Draft 2, and the big hope with that was that it would appease a lot of people's concerns. They achieved that on the college front. They've got all the colleges, the public colleges in the state, back on board. It's kind of still to be seen where students, parents, teachers, et cetera, are out on this. They said yesterday they were trying to digest it.
Casey Smith is our guest from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. She has a fabulous new piece out about this train wreck of a thing that has become getting high school diploma standards in the state of Indiana. State Board of Education meeting yesterday. You can read it over at Indiana Capital Chronicle.
Rob, I think it bears repeating that this is for the students entering high school in 2025.
Yeah. So going forward, schools can enact these standards if they're passed earlier, according to the meeting yesterday, if indeed it passes. All right. So, Casey, was it clear why they rolled out the initial standards without the approval of the colleges? I mean, if the goal is, so much of this is to get kids into college, wouldn't you think you'd need to have the colleges on board before the big reveal? Did anybody discuss that?
So I think that it was assumed, at least on everybody else's front, that there had been some collaboration, some input from the colleges. But I think also the thinking behind this was they don't just want degrees anymore that specifically set students up to go to a traditional college. And so I think the intention, there were good intentions, and there still are, for trying to lay out these other options, because not all kids in the state are going to go to college. I think, that's a fact that we're having to accept a little bit. We want to increase the number who are, but the reality is, we're only hovering at roughly 50% of students going to college, and then even fewer actually complete a 4-year degree once they're there. And so I think I think their goal was lay out some other options that get kids ready to go straight into the workforce with a certificate or with certain specific skills. It's just a matter of doing that while also making sure that there's a clear path for students who do want to go to college, and that the degree, their high school diploma, has enough rigor to it that they'll be able to get into, the best schools in the country, but of course also like the best schools in Indiana. We obviously want to keep kids here.
Casey Smith from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is our guest. Here's the problem with this, Jim. I feel like I'm a reasonably informed person. I feel like I'm more into this than the regular person. I read Casey's article. She's a phenomenal writer. We love her work. And I get done reading this, and I go, I still have no idea what's going on here. Casey, am I alone? Hey, you can feel free to say it. Rob, you're just totally clueless on this. It seems very confusing still.
No, it's very confusing. I'll be honest. I'm still digesting some of it myself. It's also a really fast process. This is definitely being streamlined, and we've heard, over and over, they're doing their best on the timeline that they have. I get it. I'm still staring at it right now, and there's a lot to take in.
Casey, let me ask you a question. When when the president of Purdue came out and was so demonstrative about, the preliminary findings and what is going to happen, couldn't have he just picked up the phone? And were they not a part of the process? And that was what he was kind of showing to the public, or what actually happened there? Because it could have been that they were out of the process, or were they? Did they lose the fight, or what? Or was his big media push pushing him back into the process?
Well, we reached out to the universities, the big ones, obviously, IU and Purdue. The spokespeople weighed in and said that they were sharing feedback and concerns with state officials about the diplomas. I don't know exactly. It's still not clear what that consisted of. I don't know if there were intentional meetings before the more public outcry over the plan. Clearly, the public outcry worked because the state board was pretty quick to reverse and say, okay, we need to change this up. My guess would be that there probably wasn't a whole lot of collaboration before. I think the main stakeholders that the state board was working with were more at the K-12 level, and maybe some of the other partners in that, like General Lyles and a few others. But definitely now, I think the universities we can consider them involved in this.
A couple minutes left with Casey Smith from the Indiana Capital Chronicle. Great new piece about that. I mean, look, people may have left more happy yesterday, but if you read an article and she's a great writer and she's the person who writes the article still goes, I don't know exactly what's going on. That's not too successful of a meeting to me, but I guess we got some new standards for a high school diploma. What happens now, Casey?
So there are still some details that are being figured out on this. There's the work-based learning components. There's still a lot of details that are left out of there of what's going to count as work-based learning. There are kind of details all over the board. In the meantime, though, once this gets published to the state register, that's going to trigger a 30-day comment period. And so we just had one. We're going to do another 30 days again of public comment where you can submit comments online. They're also going to have more public forums. These two last all day, long, many hours, where the state board is supposed to be taking in all that feedback, and then they're going to take that and potentially, hopefully, definitely make some more changes to this draft, because regardless, they have to vote on this by December.
Right. Well, and meanwhile, Jeff McCormick is saying that these new standards are closer to what she suggested when she was in the superintendent role.
Well, and I don't want to bury the lead there, that eventually they're running out of interest in what the public has to say because, as you said, Casey, they have to be done with this by the end of the year, right?
Yeah, so at some point they have to stop taking public comment and vote on this thing.
Just like musical chairs, just hope you're not standing when the music stops. All right, Casey Smith, great article. Thank you for trying to make some sense of this with us. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully I helped.
Yeah, you did quite a bit. Jim, education in this state is a train wreck. It is a disaster.
And it's it's what everybody cares about.
Yeah, it is. It's pathetic. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, Kamala Harris is going to unleash an economic vision, and it isn't great. That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
It's happening. Indiana is investing in our hometowns. Statewide, each region selected the local projects most important to our quality of life. And with the help of Indiana Ready Grants, real progress is all around us. A $3 million Ready Grant is helping build our new Shelby County Early Learning Center. By early December, local toddlers will have access to high-quality care and education. A $250,000 Ready Grant for a new Decatur County ADA Accessible Inclusion Park will allow all our children to play and grow and thrive. It took bold thinking and working together to put Ready into action. And there's more to come. Learn more at IndianaReady.com. That's IndianaReadi.com. Brought to you by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. ForTheBold.com.
The search for the temporary fix. It's led you back there again. in the pharmacy aisle looking for the new and improved pill or spray that will clear up your stuffy nose. And you'll give it a try because at least it helps you breathe, right? Yeah, it does. And it may work, but it's hurting you more than it's helping. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we've pioneered simple solutions to nasal breathing problems without the pain and inconvenience of surgery. In-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty require 0 surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. There are few, if any, practices that have been performing the balloon sinuplasty procedure longer than Advent. That's why we're a global destination for those living with nasal breathing problems. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for balloon sinuplasty. Because Advent knows, when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
I don't like onions. I'm doing paleo. Do they have gluten-free bagels? You can't juggle every food request for a work event, or can you? EasyCater is the all-in-one tech platform that makes it easy to get restaurant catering for work, with options for any group's size, taste, dietary preference, or budget. EasyCater saves your favorite restaurants and orders, which makes reordering a snap. Need to modify an order? No problem. So when it comes to food for work, make it easy on yourself with EasyCater. Start your order at easycater.com.
Hey, don't take your eyes off the road. Just listen. What you hear right now, your customers hear it too. Get your message heard. Text BUSINESS to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
So Trump went to Asheville and had himself a big old rally yesterday. It is the Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC. I'm Rob. Kev's here. Casey's out. Jim Merritt in for Casey. And it is interesting to me, Jim, that he's still going to North Carolina. That seems like I get it's a closer state, but it reminds me a lot of Minnesota in the sense of but the reversal where, yeah, it's kind of close, but it always goes, or recently has always gone Republican, but yet he's still spending time and effort there, which means they must have some sort of internals that show it's still up for grabs.
Well, they also have a tight governor race, and in North Carolina, and you go where I'm sure he's going to be so active in the next 45 days because people start voting in late September, October, and so that's a friendly place. I'm sure it's like belts and suspenders. So he ought to what?
Oh no, that's such a down homey phrase. It's like belts and suspenders.
I turned 65.
Well, I know, and you're very well preserved. You're one of those age in reverse people.
Yeah, but I'm sure he's got J.D. Vance in the Rust Belt, what they used to call, and he's working in the southern part of the country, and he'll be everywhere.
All right, here he is, a little audio from Trump in Asheville, and he says if you elect Kamala Harris, your finances will never recover.
With 4 more years of Harris, your finances will never recover. They're never going to recover. Our country will never recover, frankly, more importantly. It will be unrecoverable. Vote Trump and your incomes will soar, your savings will grow, young people will be able to afford a home, and we will bring back the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before.
It is...
Thank you.
It is... Regardless of what he did during COVID, which is inexcusable, and he should be totally ashamed of himself, of what he allowed, the money that he allowed to be printed, putting Fauci in charge, promoting that stupid shot that didn't really help anything, the lockdowns that they helped subsidize. I mean, all those things, he should be totally ashamed of himself. It is pretty hard, though, to dispute, hey, 2019 was a lot better economically for a lot more people than 2024 is.
Absolutely. And what Biden did on that first day of office with his pen was a disaster for this country, and as well as the fact that in 2021 his handling the pandemic was not acceptable whatsoever, and a lot of great things happened under Trump. There's no question about it. There's no debate about that, and what he needs to do when he becomes president is turn this country around, regardless of, you see the inflation ticking down a little bit. You see,
yeah, but that's such crap, though, Jim, because you already have 20% increases baked in, so every increase is still an increase.
You're making my point for me, and I grocery shop. You can't pick anything up at the grocery without it being $5, Robert.
Yeah. All right. Let's a little bit more from Trump in Asheville. Here he is talking about Kamala Harris's economic plan.
When Kamala lays out her fake economic plan this week, probably will be a copy of my plan because basically that's what she does. Just remember, she goes to work every morning in the West Wing. Her desk is 10 steps from the Oval Office. She cast the tie-breaking votes that gave us record inflation, and for nearly 4 years, Kamala has crackled as the American economy has burned.
Robert.
Kamala has crackled.
Yes, she has crackled. But there's nothing fake about price controls. That Richard Nixon tried to do that in the 70s, and it doesn't work. That is socialism, and that is not fake. What she's going to propose is something that this country can't stand for.
Jim Merritt in for Casey today. Did you see we're getting the WNBA All-Star Game?
Yes.
Did you see this? Yeah, next year.
City's on autopilot.
Yeah, I mean, next year. Isn't it amazing, too, and we've said this numerous times on this show, so much of the city of Indianapolis is a dumpster fire disaster. Look at what's playing out right now with the mayor's office. But yet, the sports industry just keeps on chugging along.
We have a great system in place.
Yeah.
And meaning people want to volunteer. This just wasn't the Super Bowl back in 12. This has been percolating since Senator Lugar was Mayor Lugar. And we have a great foundation for that. And the good things that are coming to Indianapolis are really, it's kind of autopilot when you talk about guidance. We just have great people in wonderful spots that at Visit Indy and the Indiana Sports Corp. And, I drove by and the JW Marriott has a big decal on it talking about the Colts.
How do we get our pictures on that? How do you do that? Who do you got to know? How does that process work?
Well, I would imagine that for instance, with the Colts decal, if you will, they contacted probably the Indiana Sports Corp.
We probably subsidize it as taxpayers. Then is that what you're telling me? If it's the Colts, it usually involves us writing a check.
Well, I would imagine that they wrote a pretty big check for that, and Caitlin Clark being on it. It's just a wonderful place that everybody's working together, regardless of the leadership of the city. And we always put our very best foot forward when people come to town, and a lot of people are coming to town.
All right. When we come back,
and we promise to come back.
We will be back. You want to stick around because our next guest, I've already gotten a ton of interest about this, and he hasn't even been on the show yet. So Evan McMahon, he is the chairman of the Libertarian Party. He wrote
a good fella.
Yeah, good dude, nice guy. I've known him for a long time. He wrote a fascinating piece in Indy Star yesterday about civil asset forfeiture and what he believes is the police and law enforcement in the state seizing the assets of people who have not been accused of a crime, have not been convicted of a crime, and the inability of those people to get their stuff back. And he says if it could happen to them, it could certainly happen to you. This is going to be a fascinating conversation about what's going on in the state of Indiana. Meriton for Casey. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. And a thank you to our loyal customers for making our agency a national sales leader for the 7th straight year. We recently saved a family of 4 over $500 monthly when compared to their ACA plan. You know it's still Obamacare, right? We recently saved a 61-year-old retiring couple over $600 when compared to their COBRA plan. Breaking news. We are now able to offer health insurance to employer groups of all sizes with 2 of the largest insurers in the Midwest. We'll be here when you need us. Quoting my favorite president, what the heck do you have to lose? We can help. As always, God bless America, or at least what's left of her.
Call Ron or Terry at 317-563-0868.
That's 317-563-0868. Or go to rragency.org. That's rragency.org. A health plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
The Indiana State Fair is back, and so is American Dairy Association Indiana's renowned Dairy Bar. From August 2 through 18, we'll be serving up all the great Dairy Bar treats you've been craving, like our rich and creamy signature milkshakes, scrumptious grilled cheese sandwiches, thirst-quenching ice-cold milk, and more. This year's featured treats include the Blue Ribbon Blueberry Milkshake, plus 2 new grilled cheese creations, the Hot Honey Pepperoni Pull, and the Melty Mess, a combination of multiple cheeses that meld into a taste sensation you're going to love. Indiana Farmers Dairy Bar. Since 1941, a great Indiana State Fair tradition. We're on Main Street opposite the Indiana Farmers Coliseum, and we're open every day during the fair from 9 to 9. See you there.
Brought to you by American Dairy Association Indiana, your Hoosier Dairy Farm families. Find out more at wintersdrinkmilk.com.
Aren't you worried Max might run off?
He's safe. We installed invisible fence. See a special collar?
So he can roam freely but won't leave the yard?
Exactly. And it was so easy. Invisible Fence installed everything and even sent out an expert to train Max.
I need invisible fence for Roxy.
Go to invisiblefence.com to get started today, absolutely risk-free. Give your pet freedom and safety. Go to invisiblefence.com right now and schedule your free consultation. Go to invisiblefence.com. That's invisiblefence.com.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
Great news! Indy Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers. Call 888-RHINO-41 for details.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Hoosiers on the South Side went bonkers on their own mayor in Southport. Plus, soon you'll be able to know the property tax plan from the Democrat running for governor, and out with the old proposal and in with a new one. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
Rising sales lead to rising stocks. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. The Dow's up almost 400 points. It's gained back all the big losses in the Monday plunge last week and then some, as Fox's Janika Solo reports.
Americans continued to buy things last month, even with signs of the economy weakening. Retail sales rose a full 1% in July. Economists were predicting only a 0.3% increase. The month included Amazon's Prime Day event and sales from its competitors and a rebound in auto sales.
This after reports this week showing inflation is slowing. President Biden says we're making progress, and today he'll be joined at an event in Maryland by his Democratic replacement in the White House race, Vice President Harris.
Today, the White House is going to be putting both she and the president front and center as they unveil their latest effort to lower Medicare drug prices. The event today here in the D.C. suburbs is not a campaign event, but tomorrow, Harris will be on the trail in battleground North Carolina, giving, as you mentioned, her first major economic policy speech since becoming the nominee.
That's Fox's Mark Meredith. The new Fox News poll shows more voters trust the vice president on abortion and health care and climate change. But when it comes to the economy, the number one issue to most, they trust former President Trump, who has a 1-point lead in the poll.
You're paying the price for Kamala's liberal extremism at the gas pump, at the grocery counter, and on your mortgage bill.
We just got word that Trump running mate J.D. Vance has agreed to debate Democratic VP nominee Tim Walz October 1st. A new round of talks is underway today trying to broker a ceasefire in Gaza, where Palestinian officials say Israel's war against Hamas has now killed 40,000 people. There's fallout to all the anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian protests on college campuses. Columbia's university's president has resigned, like leaders did earlier at Harvard and Penn. But Elisha Baker, a Jewish Columbia student, tells Fox more needs to change in the fall.
If there's no accountability, then yeah, I am actually a little bit scared to go back onto campus because we saw what happened last spring.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
making it clear how they feel. It's cloudy with some showers on radar, 75 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02.
You ungrateful son of a gun. We don't want you. We want you gone.
People who live in Southport were angry with their mayor for firing their police chief, Tom Vaughn, last night. Mayor Jim Cooney fired Vaughn for not following orders when he requested police personnel files that Vaughn says are confidential. Vaughn is hopeful that they can work things out.
Maybe we can sit down and work out the differences and see if we can go from there.
Southport city councilors are meeting tonight. A 15-year-old boy killed in a shooting in Muncie. It was a shooting that happened outside of an apartment complex late last night. It's not clear what led to the shooting, but police say that they searched an apartment there on a warrant afterward. Today, you get to hear about the McCormick-Gooden Common Sense property tax plan. Donnie Burgess reports.
The Democrat ticket for governor has taken a few hits from Republicans who say liberals have no plan to cut your property taxes. Jennifer McCormick opted for a wait-and-see approach, and today at 11 o'clock Eastern, you will finally see and hear her plan for your taxes in a virtual press conference. The McCormick campaign promised Wednesday their plan is bipartisan and would not make financial cuts to local police and fire services. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Education Secretary Dr. Katie Jenner says high schoolers need flexibility in order to prepare for a career that they're interested in.
Having every student take all the same things is not working for every student. That was the #1 most popular. Please find a way to keep flexibility.
But they are scrapping their plans for GPS diplomas and now offering honors seals so students can have that flexibility. Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman says quarterback Anthony Richardson is impressing him.
His arm strength can pretty much put the ball wherever it needs to go, whether it's late or whether it's on time. He just zips it there and it gets there fast.
The Colts and the Cardinals have a preseason game Saturday night. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Sinus pain. You know it all too well. It's constant. It's frustrating. The pressure, the headaches, the snoring, the constant clogged feeling. You're tired of feeling like this, but you've tried nasal sprays, over-the-counter medicines, even home remedies. No matter what you try, nothing gives you lasting sinus relief. You're tired of missing out and feeling miserable. There is something you can do. Something different. Indianapolis Sinus Center. The physicians at Indianapolis Sinus Center have been serving the community with proven treatments for over 50 years. They know what you're going through, and they're standing by ready to offer you the best treatments to provide long-term relief. Breathe better. You don't have to keep suffering from sinus pain. Call Indianapolis Sinus Center today at 317-528-9650 and take the first step toward relief. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650 or go to IndianapolisSinusCenter.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Can the cops take your stuff just because our next guest says yes? And he's got a phenomenal new piece in the Indy Star about that. 93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Jim Meriton for Casey today, joined by Evan McMahon. He's also the chairman of the Libertarian Party in the state of Indiana. Incredible piece in Indy Star that I was just blown away reading yesterday. The title is Indiana Police Use State Law to Steal Money Without Cause. So, Evan, kind of the crux of this piece is what you're saying is the cops can take your stuff if they want. They don't have to prove you're committing a crime, and it's really hard to get it back.
First, thanks for having me on. I'm good to be here.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
to see you guys. It's incredibly difficult to prove that your items weren't used in a crime. The standard is so high, and most people just walk away from it because you have to hire the attorney to go and represent you in civil asset forfeiture and try to get your stuff back. And oftentimes, it's going to cost you more than what they took from you. So 80% end up just being forfeited.
Let's roll through a couple. Again, the article is fascinating. And by the way, we've gotten so much response from law enforcement who are mad that you're coming on today. And my response always is, if you disagree with whatever he has to say, you have a spot here. We'll see if people take us up on it. So you gave an example of a couple who sent money through the mail
which is stupid, by the way.
Right, yes, you are an idiot if you send cash through the mail. But being an idiot doesn't make you a criminal.
Yeah, it's not against the law to be stupid. Just look at the legislature.
Do you want to walk us through this example? Because this was fascinating to me.
Essentially what it is it's a family jewelry business sold some gold to somebody.
The Changs.
The Chang family.
Yeah.
Sold some gold to somebody, and the transaction didn't go according to plan, and they got separated. There was at an event and what have you. And the person ended up sending them over $40,000 in cash via FedEx, which was in a sealed box, the way FedEx says it should be sealed. It had a signature requirement, proof of delivery, all of these things. And they sent it in the mail. Again, stupid, but legal.
Because there is no law that says you cannot send money through the mail.
Correct.
And I don't know, is there a limit on the amount of money you can send?
I don't think so. I know that it's illegal to fly outside of the country with more than $10,000 in cash without reporting it.
Yeah.
You can still do it. You just have to report it.
Right.
So essentially what happened was drug dogs in Indianapolis are trained on certain things, including cash.
Oh, no kidding.
They
you
are
can,
trained.
You can train a dog to smell money?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so wild.
I really want one. And the dog hit on the box, and they just decided, oh, okay, cash here with a receipt in the box stating what it's for. We are going to assume that this is money laundering or drug trafficking.
What do you mean they're going to assume that? Like, there is obviously in our legal system, there is innocent until proven guilty. No charges have been filed against the Changs, have they?
Well, that's for you as a citizen. You have the presumption of innocence as a citizen. Your property has no rights. Oh. So you have to prove beyond a preponderance of the law that it was not used in a crime. If there's any wiggle room, any doubt, any possible gray area that maybe, this came in contact with a drug dealer at some point in time, it's a criminal enterprise and they can keep it.
Wait. So you're saying, okay, so this is what I was trying to figure out is you can't arrest me and throw me in a dungeon without proof and an arrest warrant, but my stuff has no rights to the same standard.
Let me say this for you, Rob. You're driving down the street in your car, and you've got a little bit of cash. Maybe you've got some really nice antique firearms on you.
Yeah.
And you just bought them. You have a receipt on you.
Right.
And you get pulled over. There is no standard in the law that says they have to have some sort of proof that was purchased or used in a crime. They can just say, Mr. Kendall, I like these firearms, and I think maybe they were used in a crime, or maybe you because they're unregistered, they're old. We're just going to keep them. We're going to take them.
So real quick, Jim, and then I'll let you hop in. So the standard legal system is you have to prove, the prosecution, the state has to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, but it's sort of a reverse standard then, in the sense of I have to prove I wasn't committing a crime with them in order to get the stuff back?
Yeah, exactly, 100%.
Jim, go ahead.
You've researched this, and you're well learned on it. What would you do to change the law? What kind of gaps need to be filled, or how is there another circumstance that in the law that you would duplicate in this regard?
Yeah, there's actually two really easy things that you can do, which is to disincentivize the people who are taking the property. And that was supposed to have happened. The money that was assets that were seized under civil asset forfeiture.
You mean receiving them?
Yeah, was supposed to go to the school fund. Mm-hmm. But they found loopholes around that, including hiring private lawyers to handle the process. Lawyers get them.
This is the state of Indiana you're talking about.
This is the state.
Yeah.
So
the
you think
federal
that system
government
ought to be
completely, disincentivize people from wanting to do it, from law enforcement or Department of Homeland Security, because that's a whole other thing. When the feds step in, Indiana law doesn't apply.
Correct.
Which is also horrible. Mm-hmm. But the second thing that we can do is to say there has to be a conviction of a crime.
Yeah.
If there's no conviction of a crime, the assets, while being held possibly lawfully, must be returned immediately.
So it's a simple return.
Return of property.
Mm-hmm.
If it was cash, right. Mm-hmm. And that's the big fault of this program. Because listen, if you're a drug trafficker or trafficking in humans, or you're committing financial fraud or any of the crimes that actually harm people, and you get caught and they catch you in your Bentley or with $100,000 cash or a Rolex, and they take that as part of civil asset forfeiture because it was part of the crime, it was part of the fruits of the evil empire, then that to me is, reasonable if you're convicted.
Right.
If you're not convicted, give me my stuff back.
Evan McMahon is our guest. He has a fabulous new piece out in the Indy Star. Indiana police use state law to steal money without cause. You said in this piece that law enforcement confiscated $6.6 million in civil asset forfeiture in 2023 alone?
Just 1 year.
And
one
you
year.
said like 64% of that ended up going back to the law enforcement agencies.
Yes. Yeah, they find little loopholes and ways to avoid the school fund, and they get to end up keeping it there.
And then 30% went to prosecutors and attorneys, and only 5% went into that school fund.
Yep.
That's amazing. And again,
and it's all budget documented.
And I want to put this out there now because, like I said, I got so much response when we said you were coming on the show. If you're a law enforcement person, if you want to refute or you want to counterpoint this, we'll give you the forum to do this. I think this is a fascinating conversation. So, like in the case of the Changs, they're from California.
Yeah.
They lost $42,825, according to you.
Mm-hmm.
They got to come all the way to Indiana to try to get their money back?
Yeah, they have to file an action with the court. They have to hire an attorney. They have to go through this entire process, which can take multiple years. And there's no burden of proof. It's a preponderance of the evidence. So the judge,
there's no jury.
Right. The judge will have a lot of discretion to say.
Can the judge say, return the money immediately?
Yes.
Does that individual have that power?
Yes, the judge can. If the judge finds that there was no connection, that there was no criminal activity or suspicion of criminal activity, then it can be returned. But if the judge feels like there's any possible, crime maybe committed in some jurisdiction somewhere throughout history connected to this, you don't get your stuff back.
So like in the case of the Changs, they basically have to go in front of a judge or have an attorney go in front of a judge and go, yeah, we're idiots. We sent that amount of money through the mail.
Yeah, essentially.
Boy, this is just an unbelievable thing because obviously I knew that this existed, but I did not know the standards were so low in order to be able to seize assets.
Yeah, I mean, it's this country is based on the bedrock idea of you are innocent until proven guilty, and that you have your day in court. And when you have your day in court, if you are not convicted, you go free.
Yeah.
But not your stuff.
Yeah.
You get to keep your stuff. Sorry, kid.
That's
in this case, there are no charges pending. There's no criminal investigation into them. There's nothing at all. And in the vast majority of these cases, nothing ever happens.
Great piece. You can read it at Indy Star. Indiana police use state law to steal money without cause. I guarantee we're going to get some big response on this. Evan McMahon, good to see you as always, my friend. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
Super excited to see a debate between Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, and J.D. Vance, the senator of Ohio, as each one is now the candidate for vice president of their respective parties. And then here's just a classic middle America line.
That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. See what I did there?
Yeah, we all see what you did there, and we all see how Kamala Harris looked behind you. It doesn't look like it's a fun relationship already.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tomorrow starts at IU Indianapolis. Our students are the engine of Indiana's future. in powerful partnership with the country's leading businesses and organizations. We prepare each student to make impacts that matter right here at home, inspiring bold endeavors and life-changing careers. Bring on tomorrow. IU Indianapolis. Discover how we're powering what's possible at go.iu.edu/tomorrow.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
To celebrate, be employee owned, Be's offering employee pricing 60% off plus 18 months, no interest, no payment.
Proud to be employee owned. Trust me.
Look at you stung me to the racetrack. If they lied to you about the big stuff, they definitely lied to you about the little stuff. It is the Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Is there any little stuff?
Well, that's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
I mean,
everything is big these days. Social media, regardless.
Yeah.
Everything's big.
And what we're talking about, by the way, Jim Merritt's in for Casey today. Kev is here. Apparently, Jennifer McCormick has changed her mind and is going to have a press conference at 11 today and going to unveil some sort of plan for property taxes. Which on the surface, somebody might say, well, why do you have a problem with that? And I don't, except for the fact that she sat right in this chair right next to me just, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and acted as though Braun and Rainwater were being super irresponsible for having property tax plans until this commission, this tax commission that's working its way through the State House, comes back with their recommendations. As though they were the bad guys in the equation, as though she was the adult in the room because she wasn't just throwing things out there. She was going to wait until the experts came in. Terry Gooden just the other day echoed the similar sentiments at the lieutenant governor's debate. You know, we'll have a plan, but you don't get to know what it is. It's like Nixon in Vietnam. And then here she is today, out of the blue, 11 o'clock. Now she's going to have a plan for property taxes. But somehow, Jim, she is magically going to reform property taxes without asking local governments to do any belt tightening.
Well, we don't know exactly what's in the plan. We don't know what is in the plan. There's no exact to it. But also, be happy. Robert?
I should be happy that I was lied to?
No, you should be happy that you got all three governor candidates in here.
Yeah.
You got three different impressions from them. We could talk about, maybe if you'll have me on the show again, we can talk about her plan. She's adding to the campaign itself. Her bent, her practice, her whole idea is education. So it'll be a different type of approach. And she might have lied to you in that seat the other day.
You're being awfully dismissive of the fact that someone lied to like 10,000 people. I mean, you're like, well, she might have lied to you. Is it? If you been around politics
we need
that long,
content. We need stuff to talk about.
I don't have to be lied to get content.
You brought this issue to the surface, Robert. Be happy about it.
I'm fine with it.
Be happy with it, and there's no reason to. There you go, with that smile on your face. But let's have a celebration that after God knows how long we've been talking about this governor race, we now have issues, and we could talk about it, and it'll be really interesting to see what she comes with, because schools depend on property taxes because those referendums that need to be arrested a little bit. There need to be some guidelines, some bumper walls on those issues, so that people like my parents, when Northview Middle School is rebuilt down the street from them and their property taxes go up by a third, $1,000 a year, there need to be some guidelines on referendums. And you're not going to hear that out of her, because her whole idea is education. Let's celebrate that we can talk about these things. And you brought it to the fore.
Yeah, it's so disingenuous, though.
Absolutely.
To act as though like you're going to do property tax reform without asking the local governments or telling the local governments, you guys got to tighten your belts a little bit. You know, I talked about this last time you were in as a guest host. The whole premise of the property tax caps in 2008 was telling local governments, primarily schools, you guys got to get your fiscal house in order. This is ridiculous that you're using people's homes as personal piggy banks.
And we, at that time, were trying to take control of the expenditures of monies, and so the money would follow the student. And the 1, 2, 3 was a good idea. We should have arrested and put some guidelines together on the referendums because they've gone crazy.
All right. When they did the Roe versus Wade decision,
I'm familiar.
You remember that, where they overturned Roe versus Wade a couple years ago, and people knew something big was coming because they started erecting barricades in front of the Supreme
Well, they gave
Court.
the responsibility back to the states.
Right, but I'm saying you knew the decision was coming because they started erecting,
Absolutely.
barricades or whatever, so there could not be civil unrest in the Supreme Court. I think we need to start erecting the barricades around 40 Monument Circle because I think an endorsement is coming soon.
Well,
in this governor's race,
yeah,
I'm like the Supreme Court. I don't have to rule until I want to rule. I just think we need to start erecting because I think I'm getting to the point where I can start doing the most good, and I'm getting closer, I think, to a decision.
Yeah.
So maybe next week. I don't know.
You know this. You don't have to endorse anybody, Robert. You're right in the middle of the debate. People are polling about you, and let it all flow, and so we can all talk honestly about who's doing the right thing. Let's just say you would support Senator Braun for governor, and he comes out with a policy that you vehemently don't like. Are you going to withdraw that endorsement?
Well, I don't think an endorsement would be whether it's rainwater or. By the way, we did eliminate McCormick already yesterday. We did announce that we have eliminated
because she lied to you.
Well, because she's insane. The lying is secondary. I think the on-demand abortion advocacy was a huge. But here's the thing. Unlike Kamala Harris, at least Jennifer McCormick sat in that seat for an hour and had a little back and forth with us.
Bingo, and she's having a press conference tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
She still had a Kamala on that. I just think that it's important people know, because people look to this show as a collective on my thought processes on things, and clearly I'm going to vote for someone. And I think if I can be a part of a better government and a better state and more accountable government, then don't I have an obligation to put that out there for people to know why? And I'm not saying everybody's going to vote the way that I'm voting or the way that I would encourage them to potentially vote, but I just think, it's kind of been a big thing for our audience's build-up. And if I were to come out now and go, no, I'm not endorsing anyone. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well,
it's drama, right?
But the thing is I'm an establishment type. Everybody knows who I support.
Yeah, you're giving away the
I was Marion County Republican
giving
chairman.
away the milk for free. I'm the cow. You got to,
Yeah, but you have the ability in the next, 75, 80 days to put it all out, and so everybody can make their own decision.
All right. So you're not moving off that I shouldn't pick anyone.
I think you do a very good job of spreading the wealth of criticism.
That's so well done. Hey,
I have my moments.
Hey, real quick, did you see this Montana Senate race? So John Tester is the sitting senator from Montana. I think he was elected in 2012.
He is scrambling.
Well, he's almost like a Donnelly in the sense of he was able to keep winning despite being a Democrat in a red state. The Republican president candidate's winning by 15, 20 points. He's still winning election. And this new poll has come out that shows him down to Tim Sheehy, who's the Republican, by 6 points. It's 50.8 to 44.7. And look, the Republicans are going to win West Virginia, which makes it 50-50. And if they win this one, it doesn't matter what happens in the rest of these states. The Republicans will control the United States Senate. This is huge. This guy's down by this much.
It is large. And there's a reason why Trump went out. Trump got a lot of criticism for going out there. But this is very, very important to a Trump presidency, to having control of the Senate. And we know Senator McConnell is not going to be the leader. So there are a lot of questions.
Well, he is until he quits.
Well, no, he's not going to be the leader in 2025.
Oh, yeah.
And so,
Is he? I thought. Wait a second. I thought he was like going to be the leader. Oh no, he's quitting being the leader.
He's going to be a U.S. senator.
He's going to finish his
He's
term.
not going to be leader anymore.
Yeah,
and
right.
so there's a lot of secrets to what's going to happen in 2025. That's why we're so interested, Robert, is because of what's going to be unveiled. And Sheehy is a veteran. Sheehy has run a very good campaign. He's very well funded. Tester, who looks like a sheriff, and looks like a cowboy.
Well, he famously lost like 2 or 3 of his fingers in like a farming accident.
Yeah,
or something.
But he's on the ropes. He's not going to campaign, just like Sherrod Brown, U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown in Ohio. He's not going to campaign with Kamala, especially if she has price controls as a part of her layout of the issues in this week, and so that socialistic tendency is viewed in Montana as crazy as much as most of the other states, and so he has a very good opportunity to be the next U.S. senator for Montana, and I don't bet, but if I did bet, he's going to win.
All right, let's take a break. Merritt's in for Casey. Voicemails next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Pain from arthritis is just awful. That bone-on-bone pain is constant, and it robs you of so much of the stuff you'd love to do, but there are effective ways to deal with that pain. Tony Katz here. There are exciting new therapies that can get you lasting relief, and the place to go is QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know steroids and surgery and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore your mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. Talk to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Get your free consultation right now. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and in Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. Eagle Creek, Greenwood, Carmel, QC Kinetics. 317-559-PAIN.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. 93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
What will her plan be? It's cloudy with some spotty showers on radar, 77 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Vice President Kamala Harris will soon lay out her vision for the economy.
One of the big questions going forward is, will Harris still campaign on Bidenomics? Tomorrow, she's going to be in North Carolina, a battleground state, laying out her first economic policy. And there are reports this morning that she is going to be distancing herself from her boss. Axios reporting that Harris won't say it bluntly in public, but her advisors do so privately.
Fox's Mark Meredith. The president of Columbia University is resigning after months of campus protests over the Israel-Hamas war. In a message Wednesday, President Minosh Shafiq said that she was resigning effective immediately and that the recent period of turmoil had taken a considerable toll on her family. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Aren't you worried Max might run off? He's safe. We installed invisible fence. See a special collar? So he can roam freely but won't leave the yard? Exactly. And it was so easy. Invisible fence installed everything and even sent out an expert to train Max. I need invisible fence for Roxy.
Go to invisiblefence.com to get started today, absolutely risk-free. Give your pet freedom and safety. Go to invisiblefence.com right now and schedule your free consultation. Go to invisiblefence.com. That's invisiblefence.com.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Here's great news, Indy. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers. Call Rhino Shield at 888-RHINO-41.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
All right, so look, here's the deal. If you want to refute something somebody has to say that we have on the show, you got to come on and do it, right? So like we're getting lots of emails or messages on social media about, we had Evan McMahon on, who has that column in Indy Star about civil asset forfeiture. We had him on to talk about it. And people are like, oh, he's wrong about this. He's wrong about that. This up. I was with this law enforcement agency or this. And that's great. That's wonderful. But you got to man up. Like we keep telling people, would you like to come on? Well, no, I can't. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Look, you have to man up at some point. If you're going to send me this stuff, I'm not just going to read your stuff as though it's some sort of gospel.
Yeah, it's like when I was a state senator and people would send me evil emails, I called them, and I'd print it and I'd go see them, and they'd back.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you think he's wrong, and he could be.
Courage is fleeting.
I'm not wed to a side on this. I can be swayed either way. I probably see merits to, no pun intended, to both sides, but I mean, come on, you can't just send me angry emails.
Educate us.
You gotta. So this is how I'm responding to everyone who sends I was with this law enforcement agency or I was with this prosecutor's office. Great, then come on and tell us why it's wrong. That's what we do here. Sending the angry email to me, not going to change my mind.
That's why I asked him to fix it.
Yeah, he sat in the seat.
How do you fix it?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, voicemails, 317-684-8444. That's the phone number, 317-684-8444. So Casey is gone today. She said,
"Lucky me."
Well, lucky you. You're the beneficiary. Don't let the celebrity go to your head.
Certainly not.
Yeah. And she's taking her daughter. Her daughter's moving to Baltimore, so they're moving to Baltimore. And we had a listener who was very upset about how Casey presented her move to Baltimore.
Oh my goodness, this hotline is terrible for people with poor impulse control like me. Anyway, early in the segment, it was mentioned that Casey is going to help her daughter move, and I quote, across the country. And then later in the segment, the big reveal is that she's going to Baltimore. That is barely a day's drive. It's in the same time zone. I hate to tell you, that's not across the country. But have fun. I know it's a big job. Years ago, my parents helped me move to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is similar distance, and it's a drive, but it's not really across the country. Good for you, Casey. Love your show. Bye-bye.
I agree. As someone who I used to drive when I was on my radio station in near the Port of Wilmington to the Atlantic Ocean, and I would describe it as I've described in the show, halfway across the country, right? Because it's not across, and Wilmington is further away than Baltimore, so. Yeah, Casey really misled the audience.
Boy, this is a precision business, isn't it? Boy.
We used to laugh about that all
Bless
the time.
that lady's heart.
Well, we used to laugh about that all the time. We still do, where, like, whatever job you work, like, if you make a mistake, there's a good chance your boss gets on you or you do something incorrect. Or, your boss, you might have a couple coworkers that are like, hey, Terrence, you didn't do that right or whatever. But in our business, you do something and everybody gets to hear it, right? If you incorrectly stack the Oreos at the Walmart, how many people are actually going to be up your backside about that?
When I wrote my first book, Passing the Torch, I made 2 mistakes in it. No one ever talked about how well written it was. It was always about the 2 mistakes.
Totally. Yeah, 100%. But in this business, you do it and they don't like it. And especially if Casey's not here, I'm going to play how much you're upset with her. Absolutely, 100%. All right, so we got in a long conversation yesterday about the price of food, and it started off of this audio clip. I forget who it was. I think it was maybe NBC, was CBS. Well, that doesn't matter. One of these networks was doing a focus group, and they were talking to these people in Pennsylvania, and the one lady, I believe it was an African-American lady, said the inflation is so bad under Biden and Harris, she can't even afford the increase in a bell pepper, to be able to afford a bell pepper. And so we started talking about food and just how it is eating healthy is so expensive now. Eating, period, is expensive, but eating healthy is so expensive now, and we are leading people, Jim, into bad health by forcing them to buy these processed foods and these Twinkies and Ho-Hos and all these cheap things that are horrible for their bodies.
Well, the idea of inflation has really taken control, and because it's kind of ticked down a little bit, that really doesn't make a difference to the people that are actually buying at the grocery store. And you've heard me say this: you can't pick anything up at the grocery store without it being $5. And as well as, the idea of petroleum, not just gasoline, but it enters into countless items that are offered in the grocery store itself with plastics and whatnot. And this is not going away overnight. And what Kamala is going to come with, it's not going to be the be all and do all. And so it's something that she won't have control over when she's president, if she becomes president. And it's everything. Everybody ought to be concerned, because inflation is here to stay. And it's like my dad said, what happens with all those inflated prices? Corporate America is not going to bring them down.
Right. You're 100% right. So I had mentioned I've been trying to eat better, and I had, how much it costs just to buy 3 or 4. I spent $80 at the store. I was trying to figure out how many meals I could get out of it. I think I might be able to get 8 meals out of it if I stretch it. That's still $10 a meal. Mm-hmm. You never used to have to pay that to eat at home. And one of the things I had mentioned I had bought was some steaks at Walmart, and this person was really offended I bought my steaks at Walmart.
Rob, some of us were listening to your show, and we all grimaced when you said you bought meat from Walmart. Dude, that's like buying sushi from a gas station, buying like a steak from Walmart. Buy from anywhere else pretty much besides Walmart, because that's just asking for a disaster right there.
He gives me the shivers.
Hey, look, man, you got to do what you got to do.
You do. Now, is Olivia still on baby food?
No, she's a mixture. She eats a lot of people food now, and we're getting her more and more towards a people only.
Because baby food, like everything else, has gone up.
Well, but here's the thing with the people food. She's such a slow eater. Like, she does this thing where you'll feed her a bite, she takes it, she runs around the house, and then comes back before she wants more. And so, I fed her. My wife made meatballs and noodles yesterday, and it took me 30 minutes to feed her what would be for, grown adult humans, 5 or 6, maybe a few more, but bites, right? And it's just like, for frickin' ever, and the baby food is so much faster, and it's just like, I got to do this as a parent, but it takes me 30 minutes to feed this kid because she thinks she's some sort of bird who gets the food and then runs around. And here, she is getting good, though. She will, eat things and then not chew them or swallow them, but then she'll come back wanting more. And now I've got her to the point where I will say, you have to eat that, and then she will eat it and swallow it before I give her more.
Love every minute. You're going to turn around and they're 35 years old.
Yeah, that's actually genius, too. I feel like you'd never gain weight. For lunch today, I'm just going to eat my sandwich, take one bite, and then run around the station.
And Kev, I think Walmart food, I don't know why he would focus in on Walmart.
Well, there's a theory that Walmart has bad meat, and look,
I've never run into that.
Well, look, I don't care anymore. Look at the condition I'm in. I mean, at this point, it's all I can afford. Okay,
yeah.
I can't go to the butcher shop. All right, another phone call about the price of food.
So my wife, unfortunately, has to be on a special diet, basically allergic to gluten, which is wheat. Can't have dairy, and can't have anything with corn in it. So if you want to talk about expensive, to buy a loaf of bread that is made by rice flour, a half a loaf costs about $13.50 when it's on sale.
Wow.
Frozen waffles that are made with rice. A box runs, about 6 of them run about $9. So eating healthy is very, very expensive.
Half my family is gluten-free, and
Really?
he's exactly right. And I think it regardless of your diet, it's expensive today. And how are those prices going to go down? We don't know that, but it is time to unleash the American economy, and we'll be in such a better shape when that happens.
I mean, I had this happen to me yesterday where, I've been on this diet. I've been trying to eat better. I've lost probably about 5 pounds. I feel a lot better getting rid of, what do they call them? Inflammatories, right? Foods that have inflammatories. But even yesterday it was like, I processed how much I've spent on food for the week. And so it's like lunch after work. I ended up eating, it was not a burger chain, but a place that is a quick serve place. And I know that food was not the food necessarily that I should be eating. And it wasn't like fried chicken or anything like that, but it was not food I should necessarily be eating. But it was so much cheaper to do that. And I already processed in how much I've spent for the week on this food. And people should not be living their lives that way, right? Like if we actually care about the health of our citizenry, fruits and vegetables and all these things should not be more expensive than, ho-hos and ding-dongs. But they are. So that's what people are going to buy.
Yeah, and we've got incredible problems with this country with obesity. And it's something that is going to come back. It's probably coming back to bite us now because people are very unhealthy in this country. No question about it.
All right, one more, and this guy is trying to make his own cheap food.
Hey, folks, how you doing? Name's Bill. Listen to you all the time. And this morning you were talking about the price of food being so high, and this may not interest Casey because she's exorbitantly wealthy. But, Rob, you mentioned that steaks are fairly expensive. There's a way to make it less expensive. If you go to a grocery store and to their meat market or where the butcher shop area is, you may see a poster of a cow or a pig, and it shows lines marked in it where they section it off. Well, those are called primal cuts. Those are, at the butcher shop, reduced to smaller portions called subprimal cuts, and then those are further reduced to the final product of steaks or roasts or whatever. Well, the subprimal cuts, which you can purchase, are a much, much lower cost price per pound than the final product is. I bought a beef tenderloin for like $20, and I trimmed it and butchered it myself and got some stew meat out of it and 8 filet mignon. Even with the price of also buying a boning knife and a vacuum sealer, it was still much, much less expensive than if I had purchased those 8 filet mignon.
Okay, and I appreciate that. Here's the thing. As was said in the great movie Dirty Harry, a man's gots to know his limitations. I can barely turn the grill on. I'm not going in and saying, give me a primal cut or subprimal cut or chopping it up. Or, I mean, it is hassle enough for me to take the thing that's packaged and get it to where it's edible. I mean, I'm so pathetic. I have my dad come over and run the grill most of the time. I mean, I'm that lazy, too, where it's like, I bribe my dad. I'm like, I will give you one of these steaks. The other day, I was like, I will give you one of these steaks if you go cook them on the grill for me. So he got a free meal out of it. I'm the last guy that should be, what do you say, a hammer and a chisel and pounding things, with a hammer and sealing them. And
I volunteer at Lord's Pantry at Anna's house, and what people are asking for is meat now and protein, and because it's just become exorbitant at the grocery store, and it's difficult to find those opportunities to offer those to the neighbors on the west side of Indianapolis. And we got a problem on our hands, and people need meat in their diets, and it's not going away anytime soon, Robert.
All right, Hammer's next. Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Tonight on the Tony Kinnacast, I've heard just about enough from every fortune teller, tarot card reader, and ESPN anchor telling you what they think of the polls. Let's look at Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, and some real numbers. Voter registration. Tune in at 7 p.m. right here or the podcast anytime.
It's happening. Indiana is investing in our hometowns. Statewide, each region selected the local projects most important to our quality of life. And with the help of Indiana Ready grants, real progress is all around us. With the help of a $1 million Ready grant, the City of Kokomo and Ivy Tech's new Industry 4.0 training lab will help revitalize the region and train workers in cutting-edge 4.0 smart manufacturing systems. Over $3 million in Ready grant money for major road and infrastructure improvements in Peru is helping bolster the city's exciting new developments along the Wabash Riverfront and Riverwalk Way. It took bold thinking and working together to put Ready into action. And there's more to come. Learn more at IndianaReady.com. That's Indiana, READI.com. Brought to you by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. ForTheBold.com.
According to a 2023 Gallup poll, 71% of non-retired adults are worried about retirement saving. At Howard Bailey Financial, we don't believe retiring with confidence should be guesswork. In fact, our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we provide our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you won't outlive. To receive your complimentary toolkit, text CLARITY to 866-482-9559. Take a step toward a more confident retirement with Howard Bailey Financial and text CLARITY to 866-482-9559.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TS1.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole-body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code SHOWER and get 15% off your first purchase with code SHOWER, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER for 15% off your first purchase. With over 200,000 five-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free with Lumi's 60-day money-back guarantee. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER to save 15% today.
Tony Katz here for Premier Arms in Brownsburg. This is your premier gun store. Premier Arms has the experience and know-how to help the new gun buyer and the most experienced marksman. They've been in business for over 20 years and have a friendly, knowledgeable staff that wants to help you, not talk down to you. Premier Arms in Brownsburg is family-friendly, so bring the kids. All ages are welcome. Everyone can find what they're looking for at Premier Arms in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street. Online at premierarms.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. premierarms.com.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed, plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Tailgates are back. Tailgate this Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. at the parking lot at McCarty and Church Street before the Colts-Cardinals game. Brought to you by Jack Daniels, Twin Peaks, and Bud Light. Enjoy great food and drinks and register to win some great prizes. All ages are welcome and it's free to enter.
Well, look at that beautiful man.
Look at this guy rocking the shirt. And I feel so privileged today, Rob. You put the webcam on me.
I did, because you got the I Hate You Are Wearing. Jason Hammer is here. Hello. He is wearing his I Hate Rob Kendall t-shirt. You can now see this on the YouTube. If you elevate yourself up just a little bit, it might be easier to see. There you go. That's perfect. Yeah, right there. Perfect. Yes, absolutely. And where can everybody get this merch and much more?
Store.hammerandnigel.com. Just go to your search engine, type in Hammer and Nigel Show Store. Should take you right there. Tons of items, golf shirts, hoodies. You can get pint glasses, the I Hate Rob Kendall shirt, the I Love Rob Kendall shirt. It's all right there.
And just a reminder, if you buy the I Hate or I Love, I get no money from this. I give all of it to Project Rescue to help fight human sex trafficking. So you are in no way, I mean, you're doing the best of all worlds. You can help a great charity, and you get to tell me to rot in hell. I mean, it's just really the best of all worlds.
And you do give the money, because I did a fact check on you yesterday. Yeah. We had your buddy Micah Beckwith on the show.
Trust but verify.
I pulled an old 2 L's and did a verify segment yesterday. Micah was on the show, Micah Beckwith, and before we wrapped it up, I was like, I just want to make sure that Rob Kendall gave my weight loss money and a little more to the church, and it didn't end up in the tip jar of some floozy running the bar at the Applebee's in Brownsburg.
Yeah, that cool 50 was given to the Project Rescue Fund. So all of the money that I get does indeed go to a charity. What did you bring us?
So our friends at Gwendolyn Lee Cakery in Beech Grove.
Show those on the camera there.
They can create any cookie you want.
Yeah. These are the people who somebody got mad at them because they made Trump cookies. Was that right?
Somebody ordered Trump cookies, and they made them because that's what a business does.
Yeah, right.
And all these lunatic nuts were getting upset. So our pal Drake for America.
Love Drake.
Super fan. He ordered some Hammer and Nigel Show cookies and some little beer mug cookies. Perfect for the Hammer and Nigel Show fans in your house. And we've got some, so I gave some to you and to Mr. Merritt here.
Now, how long do we think those cookies will stay good for? Like, because I collect things in my office. It's just a big hodgepodge of things that I've been given and collected over the years. That seems like a collector's item to me. How long do you think I could keep those for before they just rot away to nothing?
Well, I'm not a chef. I'm not Jack Tripper here, so I don't know. But they are sealed up in a very tight little thing here. It's actually kind of hard to get into.
Yeah.
So that's good. It means they keep it fresh. But just eat it. Don't make more.
I'm just surprised that Robert's got an office.
Yeah.
Oh, I got my office is just I've just got knickknacks just sprawled out everywhere.
You and Terry Stacy could open up some sort of museum of random Indiana stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Like Terry Stacy, the first lady of WIBC, she's got this montage of chewed up gum from Indy 500 drivers.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And, we used to get free stuff all the time when I worked with the women. Like every day somebody would send something. And so I've kept most of that stuff. Once Casey showed up, we stopped getting free stuff. So I don't know if she's just not as endearing as the women were. I don't know. But I keep it. It's just all a big hodgepodge on my desk. Like you said, it's like a flea market back there. And all of it has its own little memories.
And if anybody wants to make some I Love or I Hate Rob Kendall cookies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Order them from Gwendolyn Lee in Beech Grove.
Perfect.
They'll be happy to make them. We were texting a little bit back and forth the other night. There was a post on social media, I think it was from one of our favorite accounts, Super 70 Sports, about the biggest villain in sports history. Like, who's the biggest villain? And they brought the name Bill Laimbeer to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you remember, during the Bad Boys Pistons, like, every team in the league hated Bill Laimbeer, right? Hometown fans loved him, but everybody else despised him.
In ice hockey, it'd be a goon.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Notre Dame product, Bill Laimbeer.
That's right.
So I started thinking about this. It's like, is there anybody I would bring to the table that could be a bigger villain in the history of professional sports than Bill Laimbeer?
That's a great question.
I thought, I don't know if it's professional, but college, Christian Laettner.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because Duke was the brand that, unless you were just some diehard Duke fan, everybody rooted against them. The Fab Five had that documentary where they called him soft and pretty boy, and he did the cheap stomp on the player from somewhere in the tournament. So Christian Laettner was the other one that I would bring to the table.
I was thinking, because we were going back and forth on this, and like Dennis Rodman was a bad dude, but he was kind of liked by everybody.
Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Like, he's supposed to be the heel, but everybody likes him.
I think John Rocker was somebody that came to mind.
That's a good one.
He was the famous closer for the Braves. He was really good. He was a young guy. He gives this interview in Sports Illustrated where he talks about how much he hates New York. He starts using all these, I think there were some homophobic slurs in there. And then he just, not only did he become persona non grata, he fell apart because of it. He went from arguably the best closer in baseball to just, I mean, he couldn't get anybody out.
Could Rob Dibble be in that category at all?
I think a lot more people liked Rob, I think, than hated him.
Remember when he threw the ball at Doug DeCenzo for no reason?
Yes.
So Doug DeCenzo was this little guy. He played for the Cubs. He's an outfielder. And he was like, I don't know, maybe my size or shorter. Like this
stocky, short guy.
Yeah. And he bunts the ball, and Dibble fields the ball. And for some reason, instead of throwing it to first base, he just takes the ball and chucks it at Doug DeCenzo.
Right at his spine, running down the baseline.
And then they throw him out of the game, of course, because it's blatantly obvious he threw the ball at him. And Dibble's just like, what? Roger Clemens might have been. I mean,
Roger Clemens
was easy to hate once he went to the Yankees and he became Juice Clemens. I mean, I liked Red Sox Roger Clemens, but I'll tell you, Yankees and then Astros Roger Clemens, screw that guy.
Was he more despised than steroid-using Yankee A-Rod?
Boy, that's a good point, too. Boy, remember when he put his phone number on the baseball and gave it to some woman in the stands? That's a good question. I do think Christian Laettner or Bill Laimbeer are probably, if you're doing the, seeding, they've got to probably be your 1A, 1B of all-time hated villains.
And as I get older, I almost appreciate those dudes.
Yeah.
Is that weird?
Because Christian Laettner was clutch. He was the best player in college. You can hate him all you want. Not many guys are hitting that shot against Kentucky. That's all I'm saying.
And that wasn't the only one. The Connecticut shot, I mean, he was on the original Dream Team.
Yeah. Think about how tough those Pistons guys were. I know the music's playing here, but think about how tough those Pistons guys were. The Bill Laimbeer wasn't even the toughest guy on his own team.
Right. Mahorn and Rodman.
Mahorn. What's coming up this afternoon?
You are going to join us. We're going to go off the rails. We got the biggest stories of the day.
It's Kendall and Casey Show. Meriton for Casey, 93 WIBC.
I'm not your stepping stone.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. For service today. Today.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
To celebrate, be employee owned, Bee's offering employee pricing 60% off plus 18 months, no interest, no payment.
Proud to be employee owned. Trust me.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Jennifer McCormick is revealing her plan to fix property taxes in Indiana, plus what the public sentiment is for the mayor of Southport, and another big sporting event is coming to Indianapolis next year. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Arrests and the overdose death of a TV friend. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. It comes less than a year after Matthew Perry, who starred in the Friends 1990s sitcom, was found dead.
Multiple arrests have been made in the investigation into the death of actor Matthew Perry. According to TMZ, at least one doctor has been taken into custody. Law enforcement agencies have seized computers and other electronic equipment to determine who supplied the Friends actor with the ketamine that caused him to lose consciousness last October and drown in his hot tub.
That's Fox's Michelle Polino. Another debate is set ahead of Election Day.
Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance in a post on X saying the American people deserve as many debates as possible. And not only does Vance accept the CBS debate on October 1st, he writes, I accept the CNN debate on September 18th as well, telling Democratic VP candidate Tim Walz that he looks forward to seeing him at both. For now, Walz and Kamala Harris have each only accepted one debate.
That's Fox's Jeff Manasso. In a few hours, Vice President Harris will join President Biden at an event in Maryland focusing on lowering drug prices for seniors on Medicare. Tomorrow, she'll go to North Carolina.
Her first major economic policy speech since becoming the nominee. The campaign says it's there she's going to call for a federal ban on corporate price gouging with a specific focus on food prices, which she says remain too high post-pandemic. But what about Bidenomics? Will that be embraced on the campaign trail? Axios reports that Harris doesn't want to be completely defined by the Biden-Harris record.
Fox's Mark Meredith, former President Trump at a North Carolina rally yesterday said,
with 4 more years of Harris, your finances will never recover. They're never going to recover.
Now, we're just getting this update. Former President Trump is requesting a delay in sentencing set for next month in New York, wanting it pushed back to after the election. He was found guilty of falsifying records related to 2016 payments to keep an alleged affair quiet. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Here's her plan for property taxes. It's 79 and cloudy downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Democratic candidate for governor Jennifer McCormick is joining the rest of the candidates for governor in unveiling her vision for property taxes in Indiana. McCormick's plan includes capping property tax bills at 10%, as well as increasing homeowners and renters' tax deductions. McCormick claims that her plan will not result in funding cuts for local law enforcement, which she says would happen under Mike Braun's plan. Hoosiers who live in Southport unloaded on their mayor at a public meeting Wednesday evening.
You ungrateful son of a gun. We don't want you. We want you gone.
Most of them irate over Mayor Jim Cooney's decision to unexpectedly fire Southport Police Chief Tom Vaughn. It has to do with a disagreement over the access of police personnel records. Vaughn also spoke at the meeting and is hopeful that he and Cooney can sit down soon and work out their differences. Indiana's Attorney General is backing off of a lawsuit against IU Health. Ryan Hedrick reports.
Todd Rokita says IU Health violated HIPAA and another state law when a 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio traveled to Indiana to be treated. Rokita says the hospital didn't protect her information, but now he says the hospital has made some changes and he's satisfied.
You know, IU Health rejected the best interest of patients and taxpayers alike when they publicly postured for the abortion lobby.
Rokita says IU has agreed to conduct training that centers on protecting your privacy. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Caitlin Clark is ready to get back at it after a month off.
I think this prep has been really good, but eventually you get to the point where it's just like, all right, let's go now. Like, let's get these last 14 games going. So I think that's kind of the point we're at.
Indiana Fever, they're facing Phoenix tomorrow to resume the season after the Olympic break. The city now confirming that the WNBA All-Star Game next year will be in Indianapolis. Mayor Hogshead saying in a statement that our city looks forward to welcoming the WNBA and its fans in the same way that we welcomed the NBA and its fans back in February. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Sinus pressure, congestion, snoring, being unable to sleep, being unable to breathe. Yep, it's another sinus infection. You've Googled, watched videos, tried over-the-counter sprays, medications, and home remedies, but nothing ever works. There must be some kind of treatment that can help, right? Indianapolis Sinus Center understands how draining it can be when you try treatment after treatment without any relief. That's why they've been serving and treating the community for over 50 years. Indianapolis Sinus Center has performed thousands of procedures and helped thousands of patients find lasting relief they didn't know was possible. Patients like you. If you've had enough of sinus pain, pressure, and congestion, schedule a visit with Indianapolis Sinus Center today. Call 317-528-9650 and take the first step toward breathing easy. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650 or visit IndianapolisSinusCenter.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, old McCormick released her property tax plan. It's going on right now. There's a big press conference. There's a written thing to it, though. So it's like a Supreme Court ruling, where they hand them out. They just start handing them out to the media, and you got to, cipher through them. I had to do this with Braun, too, and he came in. So I'll I'll sort through this here. Merritt, maybe you can filibuster for a few minutes, and I'll read as fast as I possibly can.
It's kind of interesting that you all of a sudden, a year and a half ago, we've been talking on these airwaves about how boring the governor race was, and then Suzanne Crouch comes out and wants to abolish income taxes, and Donald Trump endorses Mike Braun. Mike Braun wins the primary. There were 5 or 6 people in the primary. And then all of a sudden, he caught fire. And the whole issue in the governor's race now is focused on property taxes. And I hate to say it, but Robert, you were at the epicenter of it all. And you were the pusher. You were the driver of it all. And the governor candidates have all been in this studio. And I was in here when Rainwater was in here, and I thought it was just too simplistic of a plan, and I don't think you're going to eliminate property taxes, and that's really what his end goal is. And I'm not sure. I know it's not positive for the state of Indiana not to have property taxes.
All right, you want to just like run through these one by one?
Yes,
I mean, because I'm just
I filibustered enough.
Well, no. I mean, I'm reading them, and it's.
Are you going to do it in that funny voice of yours?
And all right, so we'll kind of go through these, and most of this is meaningless bull crap. I mean, she's just throwing something out to throw it out there. I don't see anything in here that's actually going to. But you're the expert, right? You spent 30 years in the generals. Let's put you to work, shall we?
Let's put me to work.
All right, cap property tax bill increases at 10%.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'm going to read it to you. Are you ready?
Okay.
I think this is because remember Braun said the increase would be 2% or 3%. So at least, so I guess Braun.
But what are you capping? Because we did the 1, 2, 3.
Well, okay, so here we go. Individual homestead owners will receive a refundable tax credit to offset property tax increases if their property tax bill grows more than 10%. Compared to the prior year, excluding school passed referendums.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
So there's your caveat,
there
right?
You go.
So you can eat it, most of you people. This policy will effectively cap the growth of property tax bills at no more than 10%. So, okay, so in some school corporations that have literal heroes like me in their community that have defeated the property tax referendums, I guess the most with this refundable. So she's saying the schools can take more. See, this is where we get funny here.
We've been talking about this.
Yeah. She's saying
she comes from the school education.
She wants the schools to get more, but what she's saying essentially is the state then is going to offset whatever the school takes by giving you some tax credit you're going to get in arrears. So you're not going to see it on your property tax bill, but if you go up more than 10%, unless you got a referendum, because heaven forbid schools not get all their money, she's going to force the state taxpayers. So the state taxpayers are going to subsidize out-of-control local government spending.
Right,
That's what
and it's going to come out of the general fund.
Okay, so that's bull crap. All right, so we're checking that one off.
That's not going to work.
And by the way, Braun and Beckwith are 2% and 3% increases, and no money from the state. The schools just got to get their act together.
They can become more efficient.
So you're going to see our 7 or 8% additional increase annually under McCormick as you would Braun and Beckwith. By the way, if someone knows Braun or Beckwith, or the people running the show over there, make sure they're listening to this because I'm writing your ads for you right now. You're welcome, right? Okay, let's see. That's bull crap.
That's kind of an endorsement.
Let's go to the next one. 40% increase in the homeowner property tax deduction. All right, ready? Increase the maximum homeowner property tax deduction from $2,500 to $3,500. The Indiana Legislative Services Agency last year estimated this would be an $8.8 million savings eligible to homeowners starting in 20. I don't even know what that means.
That is really confusing.
I don't even know what that means.
You're taking a complicated issue and even making it more so.
Yeah, 150% increase in exemptions on personal income. So now we're getting into income tax. Okay, increase the amount of exemptions on state and local income taxes from $1,000 to $2,500. What does that even mean? What does that have to do with property taxes?
You're making the CPAs rich here.
Yeah,
I mean they're making it so complicated that you've got to get advice, which is going to cost you money. And so
the Indiana Legislative Services Agency estimated this would result in $500 million in savings to taxpayers, including the elderly and blind. Okay, that's bizarre. Expand deductions for disabled veterans. It would increase the cap on assessed value from $240,000 to $350,000. I mean, it's just an ultimate picking. She's just. Look, I'm done. I'm done subjecting my audience to this. She's full of crap. She's picking a bunch of winners and losers. She's targeting at people who she believes might vote for her. She's full of crap. She lied to us on her show. Everyone should not vote for Jennifer McCormick. Boom, done. Are we settled? Can we move on to the next thing?
No question.
I'm not wasting any more time on her. She's absolutely full of it. And
no wonder she didn't talk about it on the airwaves just when she was in here.
I would have shredded her if she would have
That's why
said,
she did. Now we know why she did not talk about it with you in the studio.
What an absolute train wreck. Oh, yeah, I got to turn my camera on here. Thanks to the YouTube chat. I got so into reading this.
Do you think people actually want to see you?
They were talking about it in the YouTube chat. But
you got to kind of dress up then. I mean, of course, we like Alps.
That's not exactly. Is that on? Yeah, there it is. That's
perfect.
Better. Yeah, perfect. All right, here we go. All right, let's get to the thing that was important. There's a new poll out, a national poll.
Are you in it?
I don't know. By the way, so if you heard this throughout the show today and had no idea what we were talking about, somebody sent me an email. I'll just read the email again. About
and you love this.
Well,
you
I
love
don't know why they're asking about me.
I don't know.
I don't know what I have to do with any of this. Quentin sent this to me. He said, "Quote: I don't know who you ticked off, but I accidentally answered the phone this afternoon and got stuck doing a survey. Your name was included with all the politicians as whether I held a mostly favorable to very unfavorable opinion of them. After I stopped laughing, I gave you a better rating than the crooks in office/elections." Funny they didn't mention Casey. So I don't know. Somebody's polling this. You had said it. You think it's a politician, one of these people running for some office.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're including my name in the.
You're making an impact in the community, and they want to know how big of an impact you're making.
Well, okay, but why would you do that? I can answer the question for you. We have fabulous ratings. Our ratings are through the roof. This radio station is doing great. We're doing great. People listen because we don't bull crap them. We tell them the truth. And in terms of favorability, there's tons of people who listen every day who don't like me, but they know I'm telling them the truth. Like favorability, unfavorability. There are people who hate my guts, but they know I'm the one person not lying to them. There, I just did it for you. Why do you need to waste money on a survey?
Polls are taken to understand the political landscape, and you're a part of it, regardless if you like it or not.
All right, but this poll we're talking about here is not that.
Okay.
It is between Trump and Harris. It's a Fox News poll, which has not been favorable to Trump throughout much of the polling compared to other polls. And this poll has Trump up 1. Now, this does not include Robert F. Kennedy Jr., but it has Trump at 50, Harris at 49. What was interesting to me, though, in the polling was the divide amongst men and women. Now, when Kennedy's in the poll, they're at 45 each. Kennedy's at 6. So it's basically the same with Kennedy in the poll. What is interesting to me is the divide amongst men and women. In this poll, Trump has a 12% advantage amongst men. Harris, a 10% advantage amongst women. So there's a 22 percentage point divide between men and women.
Yeah, and this shouldn't surprise us because polls with Trump on Trump has been very supportive of men and men supportive of him, and that's nothing new. But the women is something that is new because of Harris being a new presidential candidate, and it shouldn't surprise anybody that women are going to support women.
Is there a way to bridge that gap? I wonder when the divide is that great. Like you know this because how many elections did you win in a row? Like what was
8, 9?
30, I mean, so you know a few things.
Primaries,
and
yeah,
it wasn't.
I know a little bit.
It wasn't like your district was. I mean, it was a Republican district, but it wasn't super Republican in the sense of.
No. I've scrambled every election.
Yeah,
no question.
But you won, so you know a thing or two about winning. When a divide is that great, like if it's around the margins, like hey, Trump is down 4 with women, or Harris is down 5 with men. Hey, that's a thing where you can say, okay, maybe we alter our message a little bit. Maybe we focus more on this policy rather than that. Can you make up that big of a gap when it's 12
Robert,
and 10 points?
This national election is all about independence. It's all about suburban women and how Trump talks to those individuals who are in those situations of being independent or women in general. And I think it's so important that women understand that I don't want to be anything other than clear, but because everybody grocery shops, but a lot of the women in the household are responsible for that, and the inflation and what happens at the grocery store is a big issue for women and suburban women.
We are led to believe amongst Democrat candidates that every suburban woman is some sort of abortion fiend, and their vote is going to be decided based on whether or not whether they need an abortion or want an abortion or whatever, but whether someone they don't know can have an on-demand abortion. I refuse to believe that, but maybe they're right.
I do too. And Trump needs to completely make it clear that Roe v. Wade, what we were doing is, and I wanted this throughout my career. I wanted the life issue to be in the states, and for each state to make a decision on how they feel. And my constituents were overwhelmingly pro-life, and that's how I viewed it as well. And it needs to be made clear that they were throwing it back to the states when the Supreme Court acted.
You know, the big loser, and you're starting to see this, I mean, polling is just a snapshot of a moment in time. Polls could be outliers. But I think you're seeing that the big loser in Kamala Harris getting in the race thus far has been Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yes. I mean, you don't hear about him. You hear, what you hear is that there was a rumor that he had gone to the Harris team and said, how can I be in your cabinet?
Yeah.
A secretary of one department or another. It's also rumored that he wants to be that he has been said that he wants to be in some cabinet, even Trump's.
He wants power.
He wants power. He wants leverage, and he's always wanted that. And so, yes, the switch from Biden to Harris has harmed his campaign immeasurably.
That's something interesting, right? You and I were talking about this before we went on the air, which is people start to see through that bull crap. Now, they'll ignore it if you're a Democrat or Republican. They'll ignore it because it's team sport. Right. But when you're an independent voice like a Kennedy, then they'll see through that, and and then they'll start ignoring you. You and I were laughing at that lieutenant governor's debate the other day. I won't name him because we were just having fun off the air, but I'm friends with a local member of the media, and the person jokingly asked me, they said, "So what job are you taking with Micah?" And I said, "Ain't taking no job." And I said, the guy laughed at me, and he goes, "You know who the most powerful guy in the room is? The guy who don't want nothing, because you can't control that guy."
Yeah.
And I said, "That's me, right? Like, I don't want nothing."
Well, that's kind of both of us now.
Yeah.
And that gives you the freedom to give your unvarnished opinion. And,
If you don't want, there's nothing people can hold over your head if you don't want anything.
Bobby Kennedy Jr. Made a statement on some media outlet that he was going to be on all 50 states. Well, I don't think he's going to be on in New York.
Yeah.
And so that he's really on the ballots of maybe 8 states right now. It remains to be seen how many ballots he's actually going to be on. And I think those decisions are coming maybe even today or tomorrow. And so we'll know very soon what kind of impact on his independent, his third party challenges. And, in Michigan, there are several Green candidates and whatnot. Yep. Stein is going to make an impact in Michigan. Jill Stein.
Jill Steenstein? Kloppensteinstein? Jill Kloppensteinstein? All right. Let's
Brad.
Let's take a break. When we come back, I'll spend the break trying to decipher through this nonsensical gobbledygook that McCormick just put out, try to see if there's anything redeeming in it. And then we got to play this audio from Kirk Herbstreit. He was on with our old pal, the coach, Dan Dockich, talking about men in the women's sports, and it was, he was bringing the heat. We'll talk about it next. Kendall and Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
No one from the Indiana Republican Party is going to demand Joe Hogsett be fired. No one from the Indiana Democratic Party, which claims to actually care about women, although they can't define it, they're not going to demand Joe Hogsett be fired. And if you want to know why the story matters, the Republicans on the council don't know how to speak up. Cowardice is not something that should be rewarded with your vote. And silence leads to the death of a city and a soul. And we shouldn't be those people.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
It's hot outside, and as the summer heat and humidity pick up, you might start spending a lot more time cooling off indoors. If you've noticed sagging, creaky, or bouncy floors, musty smells, water, mold, or rot in your crawl space, it's time to call Indiana Foundation Service. Indiana Foundation Service knows that all of these signs point to major damage building up in your crawl space, and it will only get worse over time. But don't worry, with a free inspection from Indiana Foundation Service, the team's experts will identify your home's issue at the source. You'll want to get ahead of these problems sooner rather than later. Visit IndianaFoundation.com today to book your free inspection with a no-obligation quote included. Don't wait. IndianaFoundation.com. Indiana Foundation Service. There's a reason they are the trusted local experts.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultrafine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
To celebrate, be employee-owned, Be's offering employee pricing 60% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payment.
Trust me.
Don't know much about
Strong, Kevin.
Don't know much
Trying to play all the oldies classics today.
I wanted to be mad this segment. Now it's going to be hard.
Save that for Hammer and Nigel when you go off the rails.
Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob Jameritson for Casey today. Kevin.
I hope
Kevin's
they have me
doing a great
back.
job.
I'm not really good at this.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. So we're trying to, I am mad because Jennifer McCormick sat right in that chair and she lied to me. She lied to our audience. I don't even care if people lie to me all the time, but lie to my audience. I mean,
If
that's like my
she would
children,
have
right?
given you her proposal, you've been really mad, and you would have, in your term, shredded her. That's why people don't like confrontation, and that would have been a confrontation.
But I would have at least, like the thing with abortion.
Well, yeah, you're a good interviewer. You're a very good
Very
interviewer.
fair.
Yeah, people don't like you, but you are a good interviewer. You're very professional.
Yeah.
And you would have asked her the correct questions, and she could have gotten a lot more ears on it than what they did today.
So Jennifer McCormick lied to me and, more importantly, lied to my audience. We gave her this forum. She had every opportunity to present this plan. She lied because she didn't want hard questions about this stupid plan, which we'll get into here in just a second, that is nonsensical garbage. And I'll get to it here in a second. But I'm most angry that she'd been running for governor for close to a year. She had all this time to put a plan out. She claimed, right or wrong, she claimed, I'm going to wait for the tax commission to come back and then I'll work off of that. Terry Gooden, basically, Terrible Terry, basically echoed that yesterday or 2 days ago in the lieutenant governor's debate. And then all of a sudden they come out with this plan, which means she lied. And I can disagree with people all the time. At least, like I said, one of the things that made me upset with her about the abortion thing is just say you're for on-demand abortion. Don't act like you're not for on-demand abortion and then say it's between a woman and a doctor. Because if it's between a woman and a doctor, they can do it whenever they want. That's on-demand abortion up to 9 months.
We want clarity.
Yeah, just be honest. Tell us what you think.
Straight. Be straight.
She didn't want to answer hard questions because, look, nobody knows this better than me. Nobody was better at cutting property taxes at a municipal level than me. I did it because I lived in it. It's hard work.
Absolutely.
That's why
it's
I
hard
got
work.
pissed off at Braun when they started backpedaling and getting sideways, was because I didn't feel like up front they put the work into it. I think they've since come up with a plan that is okay, and they've reverted back to the initial plan, which is pretty okay, but we'll get to that in a second. I get angry though, Jim, because I lived in this. Yeah. I put the effort in. I took the slings and arrows from the school system and other people when you would cut property tax rates, because you have to be resolute when you're doing this, and you got to have your you-know-what together, and you got to be steadfast and being willing to stand in front of people. And I did it. We issued at what the time was believed to be the largest municipal property tax rate reduction in the history of the state. Year one, first year in office, we did it. Boom. And every year after that, we cut property taxes. And by the time it was all said and done, it was something like 18.5% over 4 years. You can do it, but you gotta put the effort in.
It's all about spending.
And this is lazy nonsense
Efficiency.
from Jennifer McCormick, because every plan basically that she has here does not hold local governments accountable. Primarily, it does not hold schools accountable for their irresponsible spending, which has to be a part of the equation in the property tax reform. Yes, it is a state issue from the standpoint of they've created the system and the mechanism by which property taxes are leveled. But there also has to be an accountability from these local governments, primarily school corporations, who are completely out of control. And everything in her plan, I'll just summarize her plan for you. It takes away all responsibility from local governments, and it bails out irresponsible spending by local governments at the state level. So me as a Brownsburg taxpayer, I'm going to bail out irresponsible spending in Westfield, period. Full stop, end of story. I, as a Brownsburg taxpayer who defeated my referendum, I'm going to bail out irresponsible spending in Carmel, full stop. That's the plan. That is this entire plan, is making other people bail out irresponsible local governments across the state of Indiana. That's the plan.
And it's like most plans, it's directed at her base. And you can't say that about the Braun plan. I mean, it seemed like they were pretty broad in their plan with who it affects, but this goes straight to her education base, and it's a non-starter. The legislature will laugh. Should she become governor, which is not going to happen.
Let me give you an example of this, okay? So here's the one that stands out to me. Cap property tax bill increases at 10%, okay? I'm saying in my mind, well, that's not nearly as good as Braun's, because Braun is the 2 if you're a senior, you have a child, or 3 max for everyone. Okay, so she's not as good as Braun. Maybe her argument is, though, that, whatever. I don't know. So I'm reading the plan. Individual homestead owners will receive a refundable tax credit to offset property tax increases if their property tax bill grows more than 10% compared to the prior year, excluding school-passed referendums. The policy will effectively cap the growth on property tax bills at no more than 10%. Bull. The property tax bill gets to go up as much as she wants it to go up, or as much as the school system or the local government wants it to go up, and she is making the state taxpayer cover for irresponsible financial decisions being made by public schools. Bull crap, lady. That is so insulting.
You know, the person who comes up with the plan that puts guardrails on referendums, that works on assessment issue, and that gets local government to be more efficient, that's going to be the winner. That's going to be what carries the day. And hopefully the legislature, who's looking at the whole tax situation, tax system in the state of Indiana, hopefully they take that into consideration.
Here's another example. Increase the renter's income tax deduction from 3% $3,000 per year to $4,000 per year. Again, you are forcing people in communities they don't live in to pay for other people's stuff.
Right.
There will be no accountability with the school systems. No. There will be no accountability with the cities and towns. There will be no accountability with the county governments. There will be no accountability with the townships. It is this. If anything, she is enabling and emboldening this bullcrap free-for-all from these local governments, where you got Westfield spending $12 million on tennis courts. You got Noblesville spending $36.5 million on an arena for the Mad Ants. You've got Carmel spending $135,000 on statue bisons. I mean, sorry, Hamilton County, I don't mean to be mean to you. I love you, but I mean, these are just the top of things that are coming to my mind here. I mean, this is complete crap. This is a bailout. This is not it's a shift. It's a shift of money. And what she's saying is everybody else across the state who has their act together should have to pay for the people who don't. Braun's plan at least says, okay, we're going back to 2021, we're capping the growth, and we're going back to 2021, and schools, you got to figure it out.
You just used some really great words: accountability, shift, spending, efficiency, and the whole idea of we understand it's complicated, and in a plan like this, she just kind of smeared it. You know, she just smeared it.
Hey, I know the Braun people listen. Braun. Hey, Braun people. Hey, I know you people listen. If I endorse your guy, will you let me be the professional attack dog on this? I almost said it. Horrible property tax plan for McCormick. Can I just go across the state, rip this woman to shreds? That might be a hobby. I mean, that'd be fun for me. I mean, this is just this is unbelievable that this is what this woman came. At least when she was like, I'm waiting on the tax committee, at least she had some plausible deniability or shifting of shifting of responsibility, or I'm being misreasonable here, and I'm waiting forever. Clearly, she didn't wait.
Yeah.
She just came up with her own thing.
Yeah, and she also wasn't wide open like Rainwater was when he was in that chair. It was quite. I mean, his plan's not going to work, and it's simple, but at least he was taking the questions.
Yeah, same thing to Rainwater. Hey, if I endorse you, will you let me go across the state and be a professional attack dog on the? I mean, I just want to attack this woman's property tax plan now. I'm so pissed off at this. We'll play the Kirk Herbstreit audio when we come back. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
This is her plan. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Democratic candidate for governor Jennifer McCormick is joining the rest of the candidates for governor and unveiling her vision for property taxes in Indiana.
Well, we sat down as a team with a lot of different folks at the table. We had some goals in mind, and one was common sense.
McCormick's plan includes capping property taxes at 10%, as well as increasing homeowners and renters' tax deductions. McCormick claims that her plan will not result in funding cuts for local law enforcement and others, which she says would happen under Mike Braun's plan. Arrests made in Matthew Perry's death. You may remember when the Friends star died when he drowned in his hot tub after passing out from having ketamine in his system last October. The feds say they've arrested a doctor related to the case. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are gonna need a bigger cake.
Now through September 22nd, get fast, reliable, 150 megabit Xfinity internet for just $30 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And get Wi-Fi equipment included. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless bill and an auto-pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Currently $71 a month. Actual speeds vary.
So I came to Advent because I was experiencing recurrent sinus infections. As a new mom, it was really kind of difficult.
Many of our patients complain of sinus infections. The headaches, fatigue, and nasal stuffiness have a profound effect on their lives.
I just felt like your sickness starts affecting your energy level and, the things that you really enjoy doing. That really was a breaking point for me.
So Molly came to Advent. Abnormally tight sinuses and swollen turbinates led to simple breathing triangle solutions that ended up taking about 20 minutes in office. And very soon thereafter, she was breathing freely.
I'm just in awe at the amount of air that that I'm able to breathe in and out each night, and I haven't had a sinus infection since the procedure.
I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. When you breathe well, you do live better.
Results may vary.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends and family at Life Church. You know, Sunday is right around the corner. It's Thursday. Can you believe it? And that means Sunday will be here before you know it. This Sunday, if you're looking for a new church home or a first church home or just feeling called to something different, check out Life Church. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Life Church has had such a great impact on my life, on my family's life over the years, and they make it super simple for you. Campuses in Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Good chance you can find one right near you. Many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church. See why for yourself. Learn more about everything, lifechurchin.com. And don't forget, they got incredible online services.
Discussing end-of-life matters can be uncomfortable, but it's also necessary to ensure that loved ones' wishes are well known ahead of time. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Up next, I'll share suggestions to help ease anxiety surrounding the talk.
Why Adult Day Services? Because no matter how much you love someone, there are times when you need a break and someone to help. Let Joy's House be that someone for you.
Direct, open, and honest conversation is the best way to discuss end-of-life wishes. Knowing your loved one's preferred treatments and desired arrangements will ready everyone for when the time comes. Also helpful, creating a will or trust to ensure assets are distributed accordingly. And consider an end-of-life doula to assist your family during the process. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access a library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
All right, Merritt, you're the guest host today. Your choice. I'll let you pick. How do you want this next segment to go?
Well, it's not going to be calm.
Well, I'm going to give you an option.
Okay.
You have two options. We can play this fabulous audio from Kirk Herbstreit, talking about keeping men out of women's sports, or I can just crap all over Jennifer McCormick some more for the next 6-7 minutes. Your choice.
Well, I think it's important. People may not care about Kirk Herbstreit. People care about their property taxes.
Do they?
They also want our leaders, that are our supposed leaders, to offer a vision for the future of Indiana and Indianapolis as a whole, in Indianapolis and Indiana as a whole. And so, you know, the idea of faith in our leaders has been fleeting for some time now. And so I think it's important that we put a lot of emphasis on these plans, because we get so few from the governor candidates these days. And I couldn't tell you other than that she's for abortion, and now she's got a very, very murky plan for property tax reform. And from what I can see,
she's a liar.
What I see from the release is just a lot of gobbledygook.
Well, she's a liar. She sat right here and told us she was going to wait for that tax committee because she was Madam Responsibility.
She did lie.
She lied.
Yeah,
she lied.
And that's why people don't vote. That's why people don't trust.
Sure, right. She lied. Okay, yeah. But this matters because it's about just more than your property taxes. Obviously, that's the money that's extracted. You know, your money is your life. It's your effort. You give away your life to go to work to make money, and that money is a physical manifestation of what you have given up. Mm-hmm. It's more than just that. The money fuels the irresponsibility in government. It fuels the takeover of your existence. Money is power. Mm-hmm. That's what this is all about. It's about giving power away from yourself and giving it to the government.
Yeah, but if you have good law enforcement and you have good schools, your life is much better off. And that's the whole idea of having quality local government. And this is what she's just saying, that in this whole thing, that we're going to take money out of the state government and put it in local level. But we don't want them to succeed. We don't want them to be efficient. We just want to flood them with money.
You have to starve the beast. That is the phrase that I use to describe local governments. And I can say this. I was there. I cut tax rates like 18.5% in 4 years. I could have cut them 50 if I'd have been there by myself and not had anybody to stand in my way, and nobody would have known they're gone. There is so much waste, so much ridiculous waste.
When people are in a jam, they become more efficient.
You're absolutely. It's not that they can't, it's that they don't have to. And in the immediate aftermath, when you guys did those tax caps in 08 and 09, local governments had to do a whole bunch of rearranging, and they still existed. Snow still got plowed.
Well, remember, we had Kernan Shepherd as well.
Yeah.
And that didn't pass the legislature. I was fully on board with making local government more efficient, and Kernan Shepherd was a great example, a great proposal to do so. And it could have led us to lots of great government at the local level and efficient government.
I fully funded $50 million in primarily roads while cutting tax rates 18.5%. Again, you have to put effort into it, though. You have to live in it.
Well, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt a little bit.
But nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
We never had more police. We never had more money for fire. You can.
But that's the jam you're in. Right. It sometimes it's
They're
hurt.
lazy. These people
you
are
have
lazy.
to find a way. And right now,
her
right
plan,
now that's not happening.
Her plan doubles, triples, quadruples down on laziness in local government, inefficiency in local government, because what she's saying is the state will be a backstop for people who will not get their act together. I want to see local governments have to go on a diet. I don't want to starve them completely, but I want to see them have to go on a diet, because I promise you, as someone who lived in it for 4 years, they can do it, and they will come out better if you make them have to watch what they eat for a few years. And oh my gosh, the only person that may be worse than Jennifer McCormick today is Joe Hogsett and Abdul. Abdul's going to join us when we come back to talk about the latest drama with Joe Hogsett. Merritt's in for Casey. It's Kendall Casey Show, 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel Show back at it this afternoon. Nobody has more fun in the afternoon than we do. We start at 3:06. Biggest stories of the day, and Rob Kendall's going to go off the rails. We hope you join us. 93 WIBC.
It's happening. Indiana is investing in our hometowns. Statewide, each region selected the local projects most important to our quality of life. And with the help of Indiana Ready Grants, real progress is all around us. A $3 million Ready Grant is helping build our new Shelby County Early Learning Center. By early December, local toddlers will have access to high-quality care and education. A $250,000 Ready Grant for a new Decatur County ADA Accessible Inclusion Park will allow all our children to play and grow and thrive. It took bold thinking and working together to put Ready into action. And there's more to come. Learn more at IndianaReady.com. That's Indiana, READI.com. Brought to you by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. ForTheBold.com.
The State Fair is a Hoosier masterpiece, a tradition like no other. And on August 15th, AAA Hoosier Motor Club members get in free. It's AAA Day at the State Fair, August 15th. Members don't pay admission. You just show your AAA card, and you're in for a day of fun. Lots of free concerts on the free stage. And, of course, all the borderline outrageous food options. I can't wait to try this spicy pickle pizza.
An outing to the State Fair is like a mini vacation, with AAA members saving big. And also this month, there are a couple of other special offers when you visit a AAA office. Luggage and accessories are on sale for 50% off. Suitcase, carry-ons, tote bags, and more, all marked down through August 31st. Plus, if you book travel With a AAA agent, you can get a 10% rebate. Visit AAA.com. Call 844-GO-AAA-GO or stop by your local AAA office. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And who doesn't want zero body odor? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code BETTER and get 15% off your first purchase with code BETTER, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUME deodorant.com, code BETTER for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code BETTER to save 15% today.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% when you buy 1 pallet or more of select shingles. Plus, save 10% when you buy 68 or more select OSB sheathing. And if you find a lower price in-store or online, we'll match it. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. Discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Limited time. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Rock and roll sky. Rock and roll sky. That's what they
Oh, my goodness, look who it is. Can't think of a better way to wrap up the show. He's an author, he's a broadcaster, provocateur, and the owner and operator of IndiePolitics.org. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, hello.
Good morning, my friend. How's it going?
By the way, it's Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob. Jim Merritt. Hello, Jim Merritt, in for Casey today.
Hello.
All right, so you have been like old Silence Dogood over there at IndiePolitics.org. You've been writing. I bet you've gone through just massive reams of paper and ink.
edibles.
Could see you with the quill pen writing about this just complete train wreck of a city-county council meeting this week. And obviously it centers around the just bizarre, rambling, largely incoherent statement made at the end by Joe Hogsett about Thomas Carl Cook and the allegations involving the women. Everybody seems to hate Joe Hogsett these days, Abdul, and I don't see you shedding any tears.
Well, it's like I said, I don't wish death on anybody, but it's nice to read the obituary pages on occasion. No, all kidding aside, this is serious business. It's bad for the city. It's definitely bad for the women who had to go through all this, and what my sources tell me, there are a lot more out there. And it's not just involving the mayor's people, maybe also some city councilors may be involved in playing grab ass. So the more you peel back this onion, it's going to get really, really, really bad.
All right, so you in the cheat sheet, and I think you actually gave this one away for free, right?
Like any good drug, they always give the first one away for free.
Oh, I see.
And it's really nice to find quality grade, and then you go back and charge.
And what, like, if people head over to your Twitter account, ATTY Abdul, ATTY Abdul, they can read the free cheat sheet. You did a big, long expose on the whole Thomas Carl Cook saga and the timeline and kind of put all of this together. So if you'd like to read it and get caught up, you can take basically 6 or 7 years and do it in about 20 minutes if you got the time. So you just write that off on your taxes as charitable giving.
I do.
Give it sure, right.
It's a lost leader.
Here's what I'm sure the people at the city county council meeting were none too pleased that Hogsett went into a business for himself and went on that long diatribe at the end about how he was a victim too in the whole Thomas Carl Cook saga.
It's ugly. They're mad. They're ticked off. All the hard work they did is basically being shot to hell. No one's talking about the budget. No one's really talking about budget hearings anymore, or all the good work the city of Indianapolis is doing. It's all now Thomas Cook. And what did Joe Hogg said no, and when did Joe Hogg said no it?
Right. So that's the thing I think that really offended some people is Hoggs had tried to paint himself as a victim in all of this. The Mirror Indy reporting makes it clear he was made aware multiple times about what this guy allegedly was. And not only did he do nothing about it and basically let him walk out on his own terms, he brought him back 3 years later. So hard to say, oh, I'm so offended. I mean, he knew what this guy was.
And the other thing too is, and there are a number of different facets to this entire story. And one thing I focused on in the cheat sheet was the timeline, because the timeline and the succession plan. And here's why this is important. So folks, just follow me here. Under state law, every municipality or town that has a mayor must have what's called a succession plan. That the mayor can't finish his job or is incapacitated, here's who takes over for a certain amount of...
Just like the president.
Yeah, just for a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
You must designate a survivor.
Yeah, there
so
you
to
go.
speak.
Very good.
So...
It could be anyone.
Yeah, anyone. And so...
Could have been you.
Exactly. Except the thing is, I'm like, okay, well, the city's got to have a succession plan. Let me go request... So I request every succession plan from 2016 to 2024.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, in 2017, that's when the young lady brought the first allegations out to the mayor's office. So, okay, she brings it up in 2017, and Thomas is still chief of staff because we know he didn't leave his job until 2020, 2021. The question is, was Thomas still number 2 guy to take over if something should happen to the mayor?
Right.
Because here you got basically an alleged sexual predator is now your mayor of the city of Indianapolis, and the mayor knew about these allegations. And so that's why that's why when I looked, it's like this is potentially impeachment material right here.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, which is, I mean, Hogshead has offered zero refute. You know, you would think in that Mirror Indy piece, you know, they lay out how these women went to Hogshead, and they, you know, lay out how one woman, I think, in person confronted him and has audio recordings of it. You'd think if that was untrue and you were being alleged to have harbored an alleged sexual predator and a guy who preyed on women, you would be running to the nearest microphone. You so-and-sos, this isn't true, and I'm going to this, and I'm going to that, and blah, blah, blah. You get nothing from this guy other than he's a victim, too. Exactly. I mean, it's a pretty weak sauce defense from Joe Hogshead.
Now it's one thing to use measured words, which I get, particularly.
But he didn't.
But particularly with the possibility of maybe some litigation, but we found that that's probably not going to happen because of federal timelines and statute limitations on reporting this type of behavior. But with that said, what I would have done had I had the job is like, look, I said number one, you know, we're well aware of these allegations that have been presented against my former chief of staff. We've launched an investigation. We're not going to say anything until that investigation is complete, and then we'll look at our options. Then we'll have plenty to comment there. We just basically ask folks, let the investigation take its course.
Yeah, so now you've stopped the thing, right? You've told the people, because you guys looked like it was like Roger Maris in 1961 racing after Joe Hogshead. I texted you. I said, hey, I saw you on TV. You know,
you got to be able to run. This guy got to be able to get up and run.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I saw you work, well, I've never seen you work that hard. But the point is, now you kind of put a stop to it. And you say, look, okay, this thing is going to come out. We'll unveil it when it's done. And whether you like it or not, we're done talking about it. Now he's opened himself up to keep getting asked about it.
And now the mayor can't go anywhere. I want to say he was at an event recently.
Took the back door was what I was told.
Yeah, took the back door out of City Hall, but also he was at another event and basically ran out. It was an NCAA event, lunch dinner thing, and all the media's there. Are they there for the NCAA event? Yeah, but they're also there.
Yeah. So does that, look, whether it's Hogshead or Holcomb, all these guys are tied into this downtown business community. At some point, that's an interesting point. Do some of these people, because like you said, nobody's talking about the budget, which in the grand scheme of things, as big as the Thomas Carl Cook deal is, the budget affects way more people than the Thomas Carl Cook saga does. Not to in any way belittle or demean or whatever what those women went through, but we're talking about a specific group of people. We're talking about literally millions of people impacted because of the city's reach throughout the state.
Budgets are the broccoli and Brussels sprouts of government.
Thank you.
Whereas sex scandals are the meat, the potatoes, and the Yoplait yogurt dessert.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so my point in all this, though, is, okay, nobody's talking about the budget. The city-county council's probably pissed off about that. You got this event, like you said yesterday, where everybody's wanting to talk about, everything but the event that the guy's there for. At some point, does the business community, who Hogshead's totally tied into, go, We've had enough of you, and you're a distraction now. Either don't come or leave.
It's not there yet, but I could potentially see it getting there. And also on top of that, too, you got state lawmakers who are monitoring what the heck is going on
Yeah.
with Indianapolis, because Indianapolis, I remind people, as much as they may hate Indianapolis is the economic engine that drives this state.
It is. Now we'll.
And if Indianapolis goes south, then so does the rest of the state of Indiana.
So the big question is, can Joe Hogsett survive this scandal?
I think it depends on a couple of things. Number one, I think it depends on what comes out in that report.
You think we're going to get an honest report?
I think so. Third parties looking at the whole thing, and
you trust that we're going to get the truth?
Yeah, because they have no choice but to get the truth. Because if you lie, it's going to be actually. It's never the crime that gets people in trouble. It's the lie. It's the cover up that always gets people in trouble. So just like, hey, you know what? Third party, do this and let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah. So you think there's a chance Hogsett goes down?
Yes. The mayor. Now, first of all, once again, the mayor cannot be recalled because there's no provision in state law. The mayor can resign, and the mayor can be impeached. And I can tell you this right now. I know for a fact that there are, I won't say plans, but there are. But everything is on the table in the behind the doors discussions.
What are the odds that a year from now we're going to look back on this and say this stuff was so? Is it that it's even worse than we know? Is there a possibility that it's even worse than we know?
No, it is, because remember, there's not just one. It's like I go back to my DUI example. It's never when a person gets caught for DUI. It's just the first time they got caught. It's not the first time that they've done it. And so I take that analogy and map it out here. It's not just these three people. It's alleged sexual predator behavior. He's done it time and time and time again. These three women were just brave enough to come forward and tell their story.
Oh, very well done. As always, gold star for you. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, IndyPolitics.org. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
And that is going to do it for us today. Thank you, Jim Merritt. Phenomenal job, as always. Another seven rungs on your ladder for, doing a fine job. And thank you to Kevin, and thank you to you, the listener. You're the most important part of the equation. Without you, there is no us. Stick around. Tony Katz. Coming up next, Kendall Casey, 93 WIBC.